What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another day, another episode of 30 NSG. On today's show, we're going to be talking about Helldivers. Just did another patch, and it broke some stuff. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to go over a little bit more details for the Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2 Classic Collection. Give you a little bit more information about that. We're going to talk about a little bit about Dead Island 2. We're going to talk about Final Fantasy Online just came out for Xbox, and I'll kind of explain what the free trial and stuff is, because a lot of people are confused by it and didn't know what it is, because the word free trial is just kind of weird, because basically it's the game. It's not only the first game, it's the base game and 2 expansions up until that point, and then you have to pay for it. So we'll talk about that a little bit. We're going to talk about Microsoft and Intel strike a custom chip deal that could be worth billions, and then Sony is now testing PSVR 2 support for PC. And we're going to watch a little video that Krebsy put into Discord. We're not going to watch the whole thing. We're going to watch at a certain point. The Steak and Eggs podcast, Asmongold's podcast that he has, talks about the gaming industry, and the owner of the of OTK talks about what, like, the industry and stuff like that. So it's really cool to get a little bit of insight on what's going on. So this is what we do every single day, Monday through Thursday. We read the news, have conversations. If you guys like it, make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. And if you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. So we also do live streams, podcasts, uploads, and we also do gameplay in the evenings, Monday through Wednesday. So make sure you guys check out any kind of content we have on this channel, and I appreciate it very much. All right, so let's start off with Helldivers. Okay, let me bring up the actual article. All right, so the first story I want to talk about is Helldivers 2. Article comes from IGN. The Helldivers 2 patch causes nasty PlayStation 5 login bug that's stopping people playing. I posted in the Discord. I was like, imagine having a game that if it just came out on PlayStation, now obviously this is a hard thing to say, because if it was only on PlayStation, it probably wouldn't have this feeding frenzy of this popularity of a game. It would be popular, but imagine if it was only on one console, just the PlayStation, and it was having this issue where people couldn't play it. That would be devastating to the thing, right? So it says, update, Arrowhead has said that it's squished the PlayStation 5 login bug, which should mean console players can play Helldivers 2 again following this morning's patch. Now, the studio recommended PlayStation 5 players reboot their consoles, which should hopefully let them continue playing. So before the patch of the patch that they had, this is what was happening. Original story, Helldivers 2 latest patch has caused a nasty PlayStation 5 login bug that currently preventing people from playing the game. Now, Helldivers 2 patch 1.000.11 launched across PlayStation 5, Steam today, February 22nd, and promised to kick AFK players and fix the defrosting bug. Now, but it appears to have caused the PlayStation 5 specific issue that is now making Helldivers 2 unplayable on Sony consoles. Now, IGN has received multiple reports from players unable to log in and verified and dreaded servers at capacity message and presented on PlayStation 5. Now, addressing the issue is post that Helldivers Discord developer Arrowhead said it was aware of this case. It says, quote, we're currently experiencing a nasty PlayStation 5 login bug, Arrowhead said. We've sent our trustworthy team of bug crushers to investigate the relay station in the Outer Rim. I like how they're incorporating it into the game earlier today. As soon as they report back the update, you hear, pray for them. Helldivers 2 is also Sony's biggest PC game launch of all time, with a peak concurrent player figure of 649,000 on Steam. Helldivers 2 success has been sparked a renewed interest in Starship Troopers, the film, from what it draws quite a bit of inspiration from. But it also suffers a significant server issue Arrowhead has battled since the game came out. A patch released earlier this week aimed to fix the bulk of these issues, but much work left to do. It also hasn't emerged that Helldivers 2 has built on an engine that was discontinued after work on the game began. And we have a story about that as well. You know what I love? That this statement here where it says it sparked a renewed interest in Starship Troopers. It's crazy to me that there's literally a Starship Trooper game that nobody knows. Like, nobody knows about it. It's on Steam, the exact same platform this game is kicking off on, right? And everyone's loving it. and everyone's like, they don't even know about it. Like, if they knew about that game that's been out for like 7-8 months, because we played it last summer, I have more hours in Helldivers now than I do Starship Troopers. But Starship Troopers, the game, okay, is a fantastic game, indie game, and yet nobody knows about it. The masses don't know about it. And yet all of a sudden Helldivers comes out and they're like, this is the Starship Trooper game we wanted. It's like, you have a Starship Trooper game that's actually really good. But obviously Helldivers is hitting that different spin on what people want for the game. I just think it's funny that they're just ignoring that there's an actual Starship Trooper game that's out. Been out for 7 months in early access, and Helldivers is now filling in that gap of, wow, this is the Starship Trooper game we all wanted. So we have another article that talks about Helldivers 2 was built on an obscure Swedish engine discontinued in 2018, right? And what I thought was funny about this is that people look at Bethesda and say, you got to put that server out, or that engine out to the pasture. It's just done, overdone. No one's using this thing anymore. And then there's this story, okay? It said, our crazy engineers had to do everything with no support. Arrowhead isn't the only studio making co-op shooters on abandonware, okay? They're using an engine that literally shouldn't even be used anymore, okay? And they made this hit game. And yet people are giving Bethesda shit for using the creation engine. They're like, just put it out to pasture, it's done, right? So it says, have you heard of Unreal Engine and Unity? Two engine juggernauts that power most of the Steam libraries. But you probably never heard of Bitscute, okay, which is also an obscure game engine used in a handful of notable Swedish indies. And nearly in 2010, in 2014, Autodesk bought Bisquick, renamed Autodesk Stingray, and then discontinued it in 2018. One of the last games released using Stingray was Fat Shark's Warhammer 40,000 Darktide in 2022. The newest Stingray game is Helldivers 2. Responding to an article on game development blog 80 Level, Arrowhead Gaming Studio CEO confirmed that there was a smash hit PlayStation publisher co-op shooter is running on an abandonware. He says, quote, the project started before it was discontinued, and our crazy engineers had to do everything with no support to build the game to parity with other engines. One might reasonably think that Helldivers 2 was still early development when Autodesk hung up and closed forever signed on Stingray. A good option would have been to start over in a different engine, but it's not that simple. Stingray isn't just the Helldivers 2 engine, it's the engine Arrowhead has used most of its games over the last 16-year history, including a showdown effect in 2014, Gauntlet reboot, and the original Helldivers. Stingray is what studios know as when it's an experienced group of experts in a specific set of tools, and you don't give up lightly. Just ask a fellow co-op shooter, okay, Fat Shark, who also stuck with the Stingray and the Darktide despite starting development after Autodesk killed it. Now, what I thought was funny, we actually talked about this, and I said, this game feels like Warhammer 40K Darktide. Okay, I said that in the past, and I was like, man, this is a really good co-op game, sort of like the last Warhammer game that came out that we talked about, right? It says loyalty could be a factor too. Arrowhead and Fat Shark seamlessly have a close relationship with the original Bitscute founder, Nicholas Freyholm. Okay, and it's also two Swedish industry vets who founded the actual software after building closure of the Grin Bionic Commando rearmed in 2009. Now, the two Swedish outfits were also earliest to some of the studios who ever used this engine and Stingray in the commercial projects. Now, 6 years after the obscurity of Arrowhead and Fat Shark are still holding the torch for the defunct engine and supporting its founders. And also, the two studios were early investors in the next engine project of machinery, oddly, a year or two into the public release. Now, the engine in 2022 suddenly ceased development of that engine and insisted that all users wipe it off their hard drives. That makes the pair of 0 and 2 on creating game engines and sticking with them for the long haul. So thankfully, it sounds like Arrowhead were able to make it work with the Stingray over the years, and their own modifications and monetizations of it begs to ship the question, at this point, is Helldivers 2 engine stop being Stingray or start being their own engine? So basically, they've taken the engine and fixed it for themselves, right? This is sort of like what people like tinkerers do, and people that like to build and fix engines. They take different engines, right? Not talking about not talking about software engines. We're talking about just different engine parts and putting it together to make one engine work. And that's basically what these guys have done with this type of game. This is what Bethesda does with their own game. The Creation Engine is so old, it's 25 years old. But yet they still keep updating it and doing it. It's not like they're using that particular engine that was all the way back 25 years ago. They've updated, they did different things, they put it together. And these guys had an engine that no one's even supporting anymore. And look at the game they've created. They've created a fantastic game that Arrowhead has made with Helldivers 2. And even Helldivers 1, which I've never even knew about up until this was announced for Helldivers 2. And I was like, was there a Helldivers 1? And we looked up, and some of you guys in chat talk about it and say, yeah, it's a really fun game. I've watched actually some footage of it. I don't know if I could go back to play the top-down version. This game is so good, and it's just phenomenal to play. And we're going to talk about that more tonight on Generation X Gaming with games I've been playing with Sarge. So make sure you guys tune in for that. But, yeah, I thought this was pretty cool. One, that they're still having issues, and even though the patch went through and they updated it, there's people still having issues on PlayStation that can't log in. There's that login bug. I think in a couple of weeks, I had this question last night when we were playing Helldivers. You can go check out that in the past broadcasts. But when we were playing Helldivers last night, someone asked, do you think that this will hurt them in the long run? I think it will. I mean, there's so many games that come out, and time is time, right? So we all have 24 hours in the day. And I talk about this all the time. Everyone's talking about how, jokingly, Destiny over the last 10 years, every time a new looter shooter comes out, they're like, oh, this is a Destiny killer. This is a Destiny killer. And I've always said that it's not a specific game that's a Destiny killer, right? It's not another looter shooter that's going to kill Destiny. It's just games in general that come out that take people away. So if there's only one game out there, everyone's going to play that one game. But then if there's two games, in a very generic form here, half the population might go to the second game, and then they lose half, and then a third game comes out, and then they get separated a little bit from pod A and pod B, move over to C, and so on and so forth. Well, if there's 1,000 games coming out on Steam every month or every day, right? And there's little independent games, and 10 people go play this, and 100 people go play that, and 1,000 people go play this, and 100,000 go play that. Every game is competing with every other game. Every content creator on YouTube is competing with every other content creator. It doesn't matter if you're covering games, if you're covering politics, if you're covering sports. You are getting a portion of people's time that are coming to watch you. And this is why I always say thank you for hanging out. If it's 1 second, 1 minute, 1 hour, I do appreciate you, right? Because that's what video games is. So when people talk about dead game, when people are talking about no one's playing this game anymore, that's just not true, okay? So games are always competing against time. Time is what they do, and this is why games are baked in where they're more grindy than others, and they don't respect your time. And one of the things I talk about all the time is respect the player's time. And a lot of companies do respect the player's time. Helldivers happens to be one of those games that is respecting your time. There's a grind in the game, but there's also the longer you play the game, as far as when I say longer, like instead of just going in, doing the main mission and then extracting, if you go around and do everything on the map, you'll have enough medals, you'll have enough currency that you could purchase stuff in the battle pass that they have. And weird to say battle pass because there's a battle pass with the medals that you get. And if you just do the mission, you get 2 or 1. But if you do the entire map, you can come out of there with 10, 15. Okay? It all depends on what you're doing. So it's interesting to me that a lot of people don't see this as that's the problem with video games. The problem with video games is they make it grindy on purpose so you stay in the game. Look at Skull and Bones. Skull and Bones, you nothing to do, and then you do the mission, and then it's there to keep you longer. Looter shooters are there to make you spend more time. Now, Suicide Squad, which is not getting a good numbers and whatnot, actually respects your time. You do a mission, they give you like 9 pieces of gear. Then you move on to the next one. Missions are less than 10 minutes. You can come on, do a mission, get off, get enough rewards if you're a casual person, and move on and go play something else. Where a lot of other games kind of nickel and dime you, figuratively, and then also literally nickel and dime you, because if you can't get this, you're like, I'm just going to get this instead. And that's what they do. So it's interesting to see how the industry is doing. There is a video that we're going to watch that talks about how many games and stuff come out with the OTK podcast, which is Steak and Eggs podcast. So that's the stuff about Helldivers this morning. If you like that, make sure you hit that like button down below. If you like what we're talking about here, we do this Monday through Thursday. Make sure you hit that like button, share subscribe, and if you want to see other videos on our channel, make sure you hit that other videos that are on here. Thanks for watching. All right. What's going on, chat? What's going on, Mo? What's going on, Eclipse, Dolphin, Ghost, Gaming Fire, Kylo? Good morning, good morning. What's going on, Sarge? What's going on, Argus? What you guys are saying here? Fishing in Lego Fortnite, finally. Yeah, I posted something in Discord. I was like, we're stop playing Helldivers, guys. Lego Fortnite's out. It's got fishing in it. What's this channel's going to turn into? Eclipse says, so they're testing VR for PC. There's no way there's not going to be day and date on PC. Absolutely, right, Eclipse? Sarge says, I don't give a shit what type of engine they use. If the game is fun, then it doesn't matter. Right. Well, if there's a third, I won't feel the same, so better milk this one out as long as possible. Mo says, should I get loaded for show? Should I get loaded for the show tonight, Sarge? Will we absolutely hurt them in the long run? I think it will also hamper the success separately. I think the server issues will make people just go over to play something else. Like, I can't get in, right? There's so many people that buy games. So many people have backlogs that they don't play, and it doesn't matter, right? Someone will spend $30 on a video game and never touch it. Argus was saying his backlog last night when we were playing. He's technically he's still got stuff in the cellophane, right? I think I have a game. Hold on. I think I have a game still in cellophane that I've never played. Hold on one second. I don't. I thought I did. I don't. I actually, now, as a content creator, I have games that I play, and I'll put like 4, 5, 8 hours in, and then it's a one and done type of thing. I never finish it, right? Or I'm at the boss, I just never go back because I moved on to something else. But for the majority of the population, every time you look at the achievement lists and stuff like that, we always see 47% of the people haven't played the game, right? We had in Discord the other day. In Suicide Squads, I posted two achievements. All right, let me see where I posted that at. Yeah. Okay, one of the achievements was recruit your first support squad member. Right? Your first squad member, which was Penguin. Okay? And Penguin is like really early on in the game, maybe 2 hours, 3 hours in the game, and you're getting your first guy to get the guns. Okay? 80%, at least on Xbox, 80% on Xbox did this. That means there's 20% of the people that haven't played that game more than 2 hours. Okay? The other one is hitting the fan. Survive the Batman experience. Okay? Which is just before, I believe, just before the Penguin mission. So 83% of the people did the Batman mission, but still 17% didn't even get to that point. That bought the game, by the way. And then by the time they went from Batman's experience to this, 3% stopped playing. Now, you can say that the game is shit or whatnot, and it doesn't matter, right? It's just a bad game. Well, those people paid $70 to $100 for that game. And they don't care. They don't care. And then Krebsy put the post up and said, foul play, which is the 83% on Xbox, is 90% on PlayStation, and hitting the fan is 93%. So, which is perfect because 93% on PlayStation, okay, and 90 for the next achievement. 83 on Xbox, 80 on Xbox. So 3% loss from the first one to the second one, 3% from the first one to the second one on PlayStation as well, right? Which still means there's 10% of the people that own a PlayStation that bought this game that still haven't even got to this achievement or obviously haven't beaten the game yet. That's a big percentage, right? That's a big percentage. 10% haven't got past 2 hours in the game, right? That haven't even beaten the game. There's a lot of games like this. You could go to a lot of games, look at the achievement list for like the last achievement for like to beat the final boss, and there's 20%, 30%, 40% of the people haven't got to the end of the game. And the game, we're not talking about live service games. We're not talking about open world games. We're just talking about story-driven games that are maybe 8 hours, 10 hours long, and half the population finishes them. Sarge says, still in the plastic. Come on, bro. If you buy a game and leave it in the plastic and you didn't have time to play the damn game. Right, Sarge. The one I thought I had was the Fantastic Four game, which was a game I got given to back in the Xbox One day, 360 day. I forget which one it was. And it was given to me as a gift. And I was just like, I'm never going to play that game. I think I gave it away. That's why I can't find it. Because I knew I wasn't ever going to play it. I saw the Arkham series on Steam for all 3 games was $9. So I got it. It'll be my first time ever playing. Oh, it's great. It's a great, great game. Now, Kylo, when you play those games, don't go, well, this is much better than Suicide Squad, because it's not the same. It's not the same. It's a fantastic game, and play those games just on their own, and you'll love every second of it. Water says, once they fix the servers, I'll be back to playing Suicide Squads for sure. Disposable income for temporary form of entertainment. That's how gaming industry survives. People buy games they don't even play. Argus says, I bought a couple of handful of games for $100 version digital, and I've never even loaded them up. Some never even installed across Xbox and Steam. Yeah, you're not the oddball out, Argus. There's plenty of people that buy games like that. They're like, oh, I'll get it. Because you think you have time to play something, and then something happens. Life happens. What's going on, Roadkill? That's right, gamers. Hit that like button. I appreciate it. Hit that thumbs up. The more games I could never need for the next foreseeable future already. People also get caught up in the hype. You know what I mean? They also get caught up in the hype. Yeah, God of War Ragnarok, I have 100% completed it, but only 36% of the game is done. Do you see what I'm saying? I have Baldur's Gate 3. I paid full price for Baldur's Gate 3 on Steam. I have 11 and a half hours into it, and I don't know when I'll have time to go play more. Game of the year, right? And I've done this with just a handful of games myself, right? Baldur's Gate 3 I have, and I'm like, I'll play it whenever, you know? But I'll probably never play it. I'll probably never have time to go back. I did this with The Witcher. I paid $25. I bought it the year game edition, or Game of the Year edition, and never went back to finish it. A little different, though, because I already saw how it played, right? I already watched somebody 115 hours it. Altern says, I have big backlog due to Humble Bundle. I buy the bundle for 2 games, and others are 4, and I don't like them, but I have no one to gift them to. No, I think it's actually an addiction to be buying cheap video games, because I buy them all. All the fucking time. Right? And it's funny to me. So this is why every time people come into the game, they're like, you're going to get this, you're going to get that, you're going to get the last epoch, you're going to get this. I'm like, I don't know, man. I like playing a game. And then here's the next part that we don't even talk about, okay? There's the games that you have for backlogs, and then there's the games that keep coming back because they keep updating them, right? There's the No Man's Sky, there's the Sea of Thieves, there's the SnowRunners, there's the, you know what I mean? Like, there's these games, Division, Destiny, Suicide Squad, Skull and Bones, Helldivers. These are games that you play, you beat, you play the shit out of, and then you put it down, and then you're like, oh, Battlefield just put a new map in. They put a new mode in. Division just put a new season in. Helldivers put something else in, right? So not only is your backlog now locked in because you're never going to go play these games, you got the other games that you played, and you put them down, and then they're back. They're like, update, right? Fortnite, Halo, right? Just keep going. Forza, right? All of these games that you have, Grounded, and this is what I'm talking about. Everyone's like, this game is dead. No one's playing this game anymore. There was a post yesterday that I was just like, it said Grounded has 20 million players. Now, obviously, there's not 20 million people playing that game consecutively right now. But over time, they had 20 million people pay or play that game. Meaning, they bought it, they have their money, And then the rest of the people are playing it on Game Pass, and maybe they paid the $12, $15 for that month, played it for a couple of hours, put it down, and go played something else. They went back a couple of months later, played it again, put it down. But they had 20 million people play their game. And that is what the rule is for companies. How many people can we get to play our game and how to keep hours in there? How many people can we get to spend $10? How many people can we get to get $20? They don't care after the fact if you played 5 seconds or 500 hours. They got your money out of your pocket, you paid for the game, and now it sits there. And they're like, hey, if they want to come back, come on back. We got updates, right? Time. Time is the money for you. The money for them is pay the money up front. We're successful. Starfield doesn't have to do shit anymore. It's successful. It made its money. Maybe it didn't make all the money, but it made its money back for what they put into that game. That's successful. It could die and never be played ever again, and Starfield is a successful game. In the public's eyes, Starfield's not successful. Okay? It's very rare that I finish a game that I buy these days. Too many games out and plenty more coming, and I buy most of them. Yeah, it's like I was saying last night on the stream. Those live service games soak up your time. Right, all games, though. All games. 24 hours. If I play 5 minutes of Solitaire, or if I play 5 minutes of Suicide Squad, doesn't freaking matter. They got 5 minutes of my time. I'm still searching for the Wolverine and Storm skin. Just like the sponge to water, if you let them. Yeah, Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, only played 6 hours. I wish I could return it and sell it, but it's digital. And there's a whole other world, right, Roadkill? Digital sales. Because now if you bought Pandora main copy, you could get some money back for it, at least at GameStop. Okay? But now you can't do that. It is locked and loaded, and that is it. You have it digital and digital only. I think I just surpassed a couple months ago 100K gamer score, I think. Yeah, I'm part of that 20 million. I played it for like 4 minutes, downloaded it, and I tried it. Yeah, but isn't that nice, though, Roadkill? That you didn't pay. See, there's you bought Pandora, played 6 hours, want your money back. You played Grounded for 4 minutes and nothing out of your pocket. Check out the link I just posted in the general chat. All right, give me a second. Age of Water. Steam announcement trailer. Yeah. Let's watch this.
Well, I missed the dick in the big game. Failed my driving test. Misspelled my ex-girlfriend's name on the tattoo on my chest. 'Cause I can't do nothing right. And I can't sing to get along.
Come on, go get.
Yeah, I picked a fight with the boxer. Scratched her name till tall. Gave a heart attack to the doctor. And lost my mama's dog.
It's another survival game.
What it looks like.
Ja, well.
On the other side of wrong.
Gana måste le. For now, tack Rainbow Cast.
Vamos, Barrador.
feel like this is like Ark Survival, but just on water.
What it looks like on the other side of fall.
This is Waterworld. This is Waterworld. That's what it is. Yeah. It's like Waterworld the game. That's right, Eclipse. Now my stream's gonna get clipped or copyright strike because of the music. It's all right. We'll just remove that. I play that. More pirate action than Skull and Bones. Yeah, it actually looks like a much better game than Skull and Bones. Speaking of Skull and Bones. Speaking of Skull and Bones, I have a story of Skull and Bones. Let's bring that up. Let's go to the next story, shall we? So, Skull and Bones has less than 1 million players total, including free trial players, which is ouchy. Now, we want to talk about numbers, and we don't know Suicide Squad's numbers, and we know they're low because of Steam charts, okay? Because of the less than 1,000 people playing Suicide Squad. Now, we know both of these are live service games. We know that both of these games are full price $70 games. We know that both of these games are not the best foot forward for these games. If you like these games and you're having fun in these games, cool. Okay? But let's talk about Skull and Bones. Inside gaming sources have revealed that Skull and Bones, which is dubbed Ubisoft's first, and this is why you keep your mouth shut when you say stuff like this, quadruple A game by the CEO, has less than 1 million players total. Maybe those people just don't understand what a quadruple A game is yet. Maybe you have to give it time. Speaking with the sources, the game currently has around 850,000 players total at the time of writing this. Now, again, take this with a grain of salt and rumors. This is a source. Okay, so it says, which includes those who have opted to play the game with the 8-hour free trial. Ooh, that is bad. We're talking like really bad. Okay, at the moment, players seemingly fairly engaged with the average player between 3 and 4 hours a day. However, whether or not that this will change once the free trial expires, it will be converted players into full purchases remains to be seen. And this won't likely get the data until the company's next earnings call around May of 2024. So one major factor in the low player numbers has been attributed to the decision to make the game fully priced at $70. This game was supposed to be a $40 game back in the day, and they decided to brush that underneath the rug and pretend it didn't happen. The decision has been criticized both publicly and internally, sources said. It says, quote, I think we all know this game is a $30 to $40 game at best, but it's not in our control to determine those things, said one employee who worked on the project. Okay? And I guarantee you, there was a report that this game was supposed to be $40 like 7 years ago. Okay? 10 years in development. In the past, reported Inside Gaming, where I dive deep into the internal tensions of the company, sources revealed that the game was forecasted to cost the company around $200 million in its decade-long development. If some of the company doesn't expect the game to make it back, the game's development saw thousands of developers working on this game across 11 different studios, which saw countless changes in creative directions and constant internal delays. The game, which also officially launched on February 16th, currently sits at 57 Metacritic score, and users score at 3.1 based on 684 user rating. I have a question. Didn't IGN rate this 2 points higher than Suicide Squad? Yet the Metacritic score is even lower? Amazing. GameSpot said everything that was great about Black Flag has been ripped out. Amazing. Attention, live service elements, and half-baked multiplayer that makes you feel disconnected from other players. SkillUp said the exact same thing in his review as well. Eurogamer said Ubisoft's long-in-the-works pirate adventure boasts a beautiful world of boomtastic ship-to-ship combat, but it also sinks the boring, busy work and tedious traversal. You know what's amazing? I gave it the smell test. You know what I mean? I gave it the eye test. I played for 4.5 hours for the beta. Gave you my first impressions about Skull and Bones. And these people actually put 30, 40, 50, 60 hours into the game. And they're saying the exact same thing. Okay? Now, again, I don't give reviews. I just give you my opinion. So 3 to 4 hours in that game wouldn't be a good review. But I gave it a smell test and went, that's bad. Okay? If you're loathing for some pirate action, there's some good news, though. The development of Assassin's Creed Black Flag Remake under the codename Obsidian is under development. Whitelist under the gaming industry understands that the game is still years out, and it's understood that it'll also be a full remake rather than a remaster, and it's integrated into the Assassin's Creed Infinity, the central hub for the Assassin's Creed. Skull and Bones is available now on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series XS and PC, and Amazon Luna. Let me tell you something. This is too little too late, okay? Assassin's Creed Black Flag Remake. Everyone's like, oh, I can't wait for this. We just talked about games that you'll buy that won't play. This is the next one up, okay? You'll buy this game because of your nostalgia feel of what that game brought you when you played that game. But let me tell you something. You're not going to play Assassin's Creed Black Flag. The percentage of you that are going to pick this up and play it, instead of playing the latest, greatest, newest game that ever comes out during that time that you don't even know that exists yet, okay? You're going to play that game before you play this game, okay? So what's happening here, right? Like I said years ago, I said Skull and Bones, don't buy it. Don't get it day one. Don't pre-order it. Don't buy it day one. You're going to wait 6, 8, 12 months before this game is good, if it lasts that long. Again, I'm not shitting on the game. If you're having fun with the game, have fun with the game. But I'm letting you know, if you're a person that likes your money, you can wait to play this game on day one. You can wait to play this month one. You can wait to play this game, okay? You can wait until they make it a better game for you for your money. There's another game out there, okay? You could buy 7. You could buy 7 games like Deep Rock Galactic Survivor at $10, okay? You could spend your money way better than buying this game on day one. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. What do you think of Skull and Bones? Have you bought it? Have you tried the free trial? Is it worth your time? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you like what we do here, please make sure you share, like, subscribe. Check out some of our other videos, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching. Sarge says, if you believe that this game is a quadruple A, then you're stupid to have a conversation with. Skull and Bones had to follow Helldivers and Pal World. Skull and Bones, think about this, though. When people are looking to, they're like, what's coming out in the next couple months? They're like, there's a game called Pal World. They're like, no one's going to play that game. Right? No one's going to play that game. And then, ta-da, right? They're like, Helldivers. Well, Helldivers 1 didn't do very good. I think we have a good shot with this game coming out, right? And they put it out, and not so much. Tell the truth, shame the devil. It'll be all right as Game Pass game, $30 price tag for base game, maybe. Again, they said that this game was supposed to be $40 when they first launched. They were speaking about it. There's another game that also did this. Overwatch was supposed to be $40. Actually, it was supposed to be a free-to-play game. Then they made it $40, but then they actually made it full price, right? Lots of games do this, and a lot of people don't follow the news, so they just kind of forget about it. Isn't the amount of A's the amount of money that it's spent? So they really just throw money to burn it? The amount of money, if 200 million is Skull and Bones is a quadruple A game, then what the hell is Spider-Man? Right? Because a triple A game is 75 million and above, is what they're supposed to. And this is what it's weird. I think triple A and quadruple A now is meant for more like a blockbuster movie, right? Like, there's movies, there's indie movies, there's regular movies, and there's the blockbuster movie. The blockbuster movie is like the hoopla, where they do a lot of money with the advertisement, the money into the actual project, big explosions, big things, right? Big actors. That's what a blockbuster film is. Now, a AAA game is supposed to be the money, but I also think it's the amount of time they put in, the amount of people, the actors, the voice actors and stuff like that. It's like a AAA type of game. It's a kind of a blurry line what AAA is, but it's 75 million and above is what it is, right? Water says, I play the Black Flag remake. ASAP? Well, you're going to wait 3 years. And what about if the Black Flag remake, Water, came out the exact same time as like Warhammer 40K, Space Marines 2? Now, obviously, that's coming out soon, right? But what about if it came out around the same time or in the same year as that? Which one are you playing? Are you playing Black Flag or are you playing Space Marines 2. My point is, I know which one you're picking. I already played it, finished it, never went back to it. Almost the mechanics of the game is already anew. AC games. Right. The Sea of Thieves drop news. Yeah, it's coming out for PlayStation 5. All these damn pirate games. What's next, Peter Pan? Okoki says Ubisoft CEO is the only referring to the bloated budget when it calls the quadruple A. Still dumb move, though. Yeah, you should have never said the quadruple A game because it doesn't make any sense. Because even if the bloated budget was $200 million, Spider-Man cost $315. Last of Us and Horizon Forbidden West all cost over $200 million, right? What is Grand Theft Auto? There's rumors that it's about $1 billion for Grand Theft Auto 6. What is that? A 17 quintillion AAA? Like, what are we talking about? Remember the game Gigantic? Yeah, I played it. It closed down, and now they brought it back. And let me tell you something. It's going to bomb just like it did the first time. What do you think? The landscape of the industry is in a different spot than it was before? I saw it. If you spend $200 million on Skull and Bones, you need to fire somebody. They did. They rebooted it 4 times. They rebooted the game 4 times. This game is not the same game they showed back in 2017. They should pull COD and bundle the Black Flag remake with Skull and Bones. Quadruple A is based on how much money they've spent to make it. The AAA is $75 million. ACC's quadruple A is $200 million. But that's not... If this is the first quadruple A game, Silent Warrior, and it's $200 million, yet Spider-Man cost $315, Last of Us cost $220, and Horizon Forbidden West cost $210, then this wouldn't be the first quadruple A game now, would it? They said that about that officially? Yes. Sea of Thieves is coming to PlayStation 5. They announced it yesterday. I don't know how you spend $1 billion on any game. Well, I guess we'll find out when Grand Theft Auto comes out and they tell us if that's what they spent. Ron says Skull and Bones should team up with Anthem and Spellbreak. Let's be honest. After 3 A's, you're just screaming example of quadruple A games. See you read this in your mind screaming. Yeah. Quadruple A game. Old standard. Those games don't count. Skull and Bones cost $500 to make. They cut so many corners making the game. They removed 2/3 of the game, and then it was billed as. I do wonder if the CEO was just calling a quadruple A game for the shareholders major backfire. I don't even think... Look, let's be honest here, Makoki. Him saying it's quadruple A or triple A, okay, had no effect on Skull and Bones. The cause and effect on Skull and Bones is 10 years, 4 reboots, 7 delays, okay, and taking money from Singapore to fund the game. Because it was a government grant or whatever, and it's an obligation for them to get this game out. This game was never going to be scrapped because they had to get it out. It has nothing to do with the guy saying it's a quadruple A game while the game is not doing well. I played it before he said quadruple A game, and I said what the problems were way before he came out and said it was a quadruple A game. All right, let's go with calling a quadruple A game because of how much is spent on it. This is what the deliberate disgrace of the company's name and the shareholders. I don't think it's the money spent on it. I think it's everything about it. It's about the time, the money, just everything about it, why it was a quadruple A game. Plus, he knew it was going to bomb, and he was like, "Well, we got to get the money." I just had the conversation. They don't care if you stop playing the game 2 hours afterwards and you never play it again. They not that money up front. Up front. Let's say they got the million people. Let's just say they got the million people, okay, to buy this game at the full price, $70. That's $70 million before taxes and everything like that, right? They made half their money back, right? They made half their money back, or almost half their money back, on the $200 million game. Okay? They made 1/3 of their money back, right? How many people can they dupe into getting the game? How many people are going to buy a microtransaction? How many people are going to get some... You know what I'm saying? How many people are going to come back for the Season 1, for Season 2? They already announced Season 1. Eclipse says, still playing Last Epoch on my build. I gotta put it in my brain what LE stands for. Build is coming together, and it feels so good. Hey, are the servers not shit anymore? Did they fix the servers? Is it a bug that Eclipse, when the stream started, your name was green and now it's not? Is that a bug in YouTube? Or literally did your thing expire within the last 10 seconds? What's going on, Hemi? I was like, I could have sworn your name was green earlier, and I did. I scrolled back up and it was. I don't have time for Last Epoch. You know? I don't have time for it. Watched Aged Water. Did the patch. All right, the next thing I want to talk about. I didn't mean to call you out, Eclipse. I thought it was weird. I was like, wait, wasn't Eclipse's name green? And then all of a sudden it showed up and you're not green. I was like, the hell? So the next thing I want to talk about is Final Fantasy, right? We had a conversation like 2 weeks ago, right? Final Fantasy was finally coming out. They announced that you have to pay for the subscription model, and you also have to pay for Xbox Game Pass, right? And obviously the people on PlayStation don't have to pay that. They can just play the game, right? Buy the game, then pay for the fee for Final Fantasy. Over here, you got to pay for the game, or you don't have to pay for the game, but you have to get the subscription model after the trial and when you have Game Pass, right? So I want to make it clear to people that the trial, when they say free trial, when people say free trial, they think, oh, it's like a demo, right? Free trial, I'm going to play for a couple hours, and then it's going to cut me off, and then I have to pay for the thing, right? I want to make it perfectly clear what the free trial includes, okay? And this is coming from Xbox Live, the Final Fantasy 14 online free trial, right? You can get it right now. It says, play Final Fantasy 14 online for free. The Final Fantasy 14 online free trial includes 3 award-winning titles: Final Fantasy XIV, The Realm Reborn, the base game, and the first and second expansions of Final Fantasy XIV, Heaven's Ward, and also Final Fantasy XIV Stormblood. Join for over 30 million adventurers worldwide as it takes part of the epic adventure challenging the Final Fantasy experience and all the hallmarks of the best-selling franchise, an unforgettable story, exhilarating battles, and the myriad of the captive environments to explore. Party up with your friends and play solo, experience, or all the main story dungeons on your own by calling the NPC allies to fight with you on your side. Final Fantasy XIV open beta is only available for newly created Square Enix accounts. Okay? Obviously, if you already own a PlayStation and a PC, there's no reason for you to get your account to link to this to play it. Okay, you already have it. So don't do this, okay? Unless you want to really play on your Xbox, okay? This is for people that are on Xbox that have never had this game before, never had a Final Fantasy to play, never signed up for a Square Enix type of thing. So make sure you don't sign up the beta because it'll screw you. Don't link your accounts. It'll screw you, okay? It says, users will not be able to link existing accounts during the open beta period. If you would like to link an existing Square Enix account, please wait until the full launch of Final Fantasy XIV on Xbox. You gotta wait. Don't do it during the beta. Wait to do it after the beta is done and the full launch comes out. If you create a new Square Enix account in order to play the Xbox Open Beta, please be aware that you will not be able to link your other Square Enix account in the future. If you wish to play Final Fantasy XIV on Xbox with the existing Square Enix account, its also associated characters, please wait until the full Xbox launch. Important. Requires game purchase and an ongoing subscription to continue playing after the free trial. All editions of the game require user registration, age restrictions, and other terms of conditions applied. Okay? So again, what do you get with this? Okay? So with this is what you get. Today they launched the open beta. It brings all content available in the free trial to Xbox Series X and S. This means you can enjoy the entirety of the Realm Reborn, as well as the award-winning Haven's Ward and Stormblood expansions up to level 70 with no restrictions on playtime. Okay? Meaning you do not have to get the sub to play this game, right? A lot of people want to argue like, oh yeah, it's like it is. But they ran the headlines, right? IGN ran the headlines that you have to pay $23 to play this game. You do not have to pay $23 to play this game. If you're an Xbox, all you got to do, the free trial is up to level 70, and it's those first expansions. It's the base game, the 2 expansions, and hundreds of hours of playtime in Final Fantasy before you have to decide to go, you know what? I really like this game. I have 499 hours in the game, and now I think I'm going to pay the monthly fee to continue playing the game. Now, obviously, if you waited this long to play Final Fantasy on your Xbox, you could probably wait a little longer to play the game, play up to level 70, play the 500 hours or even more, whatever you want to do, and then wait again until the next expansions all just move over to the free part. You see what I'm saying? Where the cap is now 80 or 90. Okay? I just want to put that out there, right? A lot of people want to, like, bash stuff, okay? Because they're like, well, you got to pay $23 to play on Xbox. False. You do if you want to continue playing. Now, the trial period, the free trial is the base game with the 2 expansions up to level 70 and as much as time as you want. It's not just during the beta, okay? It says all progress made will carry over to the full release when it arrives. So when the game does come out and you're continuing on and then you want to continue your character, you won't lose any of that. The free trial is part of it. You can just keep playing the game. It's almost like playing the disc on the back of a magazine. You can keep playing that disc over and over. The disc won't ever... You know what I'm saying? Mike, there was another patch for Suicide Squad when they're going to talk about the new content. The patch came out yesterday. We already read the patch notes yesterday. Was there another patch? I don't think there was another patch, House. Or to buy the microtransactions, monthly fee, DLC, and then buy the game after the free trial. If you get that far in the game, I think you'll be able be happy to give them $23. That's what I'm saying, Dolphin, right? That's what I'm saying. Argus says, back up on top, he says, as someone who played Final Fantasy XIV for years and I own the game and the expansions on PlayStation and PC, the trial is like 500 hours and more of content. People cannot truly grasp how much content truly falls into the free trial. I hate that they put free trial because people think it's like a timed thing. Right? Like it's a couple hours. They should literally word it. You can play Final Fantasy up to level 70 in hundreds of hours for just the price of Game Pass, is what they should say. Do you own research and problem solve? Stop being a shit consumer. 500 hours is small if you do everything in the free trial shit, and 500 hours is small if you're doing everything in the free trial shit. Like that's what I just don't understand. Right. It's a time thing, Mike, but the time is hundreds of hours. And that's what I don't understand. When I said this to people months and months ago before they came out. I said it's going to be on Game Pass, right? I said it's going to be on Game Pass and you're not going to pay the monthly subscription. Everyone's like, never going to happen. Never going to happen. And then here we are in the never zone where the game's coming to Xbox. It's here now. And the free trial is just Game Pass. You just pay for Game Pass. And a lot of people are like, well, you still got to pay for Game Pass. Game Pass is not just for Final Fantasy XIV. Game Pass is for Starfield and all the other games that are on the platform that maybe you didn't play or played. Maybe you want to play again. Okay, you're paying that $12, $15, even the $10. Okay, just to have Game Pass, and you're playing this one game. Game Pass to play Final Fantasy alone is worth it for the 500 hours. Right? Even if you do, hold on one second. Even if you do, let's say 100 hours a month. Okay? 100 hours a month. Okay? That's like minuscule. It's like $1. Right? Less than $1 a day. Less than $1 a day, you too can support. Right? Like, exactly. If you don't want Game Pass, buy the game. I don't think you can buy the game. I don't know, Clips. Can you buy the game? I don't know if you can. Maybe you can. I'm not sure. It might be a deal where you have to get Game Pass. Final Fantasy XIV price on Xbox. Yeah, this is the beta, but when it comes out, it doesn't say a price because it's only the beta right now. Right. I mean, if you buy the game, though, you still have to, I think, go through game, because you have to have online. And with the consoles, you have to have Game Pass to get online. So you would be paying $23 a month. Even if you bought the game, you would still have to have Game Pass for the online service aspect of it. You can't play online without Xbox Live. It's not one of those games that falls into that. Yeah, see, you have to go to their site right here. Final Fantasy XIV Online. Join the open beta and play Final Fantasy XIV Online for free up to level 70 with no restrictions on playtime. Yeah, but see, why would you... Okay. So, let's say you can buy it, right? Let's say you can buy it. You still have to get Game Pass. You understand what Xbox and Microsoft are doing here, right? You still have to get Game Pass. Because you can't play this game online without paying for Game Pass. The whole reason this deal happened is because they want more people on Game Pass. guys understand that, right? You can't just buy Final Fantasy. I mean, you can. So great, you buy the game now, right? You buy Final Fantasy 14. Then you play the 70 hours, and you want to continue playing. Then you pay the $13 a month, whatever it is, for the subscription model. But then you also need the $10 for Game Pass. No, it's not over when you play up to 70. No, when you hit 70, it doesn't just end. You can literally get to 70 and keep playing, but you won't be able to go to the new areas and stuff like that or move past 70. You can still do story elements and different things. Or you can create a new character and do it again. Right? That's the whole deal. I just want to make sure. You could buy and support Square Enix with Final Fantasy 14, but they don't care about that. You got to get Game Pass. And if you're going to get Game Pass, there's no reason to buy the game. One, because you're not buying a physical game anymore. You're getting digital. So you might as well just play it off of Game Pass, pay the $10 where you get all this other benefits of it as well. And if you go past the level 70, 500 hours worth of the free trial, then you pay the extra $13 on top of that, which would then be $23 if you were just playing that game. Do you think Helldivers will go to Game Pass when it comes to Xbox? I'm assuming it will come. Even if Helldivers comes to Game Pass or Xbox down the road, what are we talking, 2 years from now? At that time, I don't really think Helldivers is going to have this, what Helldivers is right now. In Final Fantasy 14, you can play every single class on one character, or generally no need for more than one unusually if you want to. Oh, so you could just switch classes. So you don't have to make a new character then. Helpful tip, Final Fantasy 14 isn't like other MMOs. There's no need to make multiple characters one. Yeah, so Argus just said that. Thank you, Krebsy. Thank you, Argus. Appreciate that. That's awesome. Good to know. See, that's a game I might jump into just to play around with it for a little bit and never really go into it. But now as a person that's never played Final Fantasy 14 and now it's on Game Pass and I own Game Pass, I can now play it and not feel pressured to buy a $23 a month subscription. Because I'm already paying the $18 for just Game Pass. But at that time, Mo, right? Let's say you reach level 70, and let's say you're like 200 hours in. At that point, I think you're like, you know what? I really like this game. I'm going to continue playing it, and I'm going to pay for 1 month of subscription, right? Obviously, the more months you get from them, it's cheaper, right? You already have Game Pass, right? You already have Game Pass, so that's not really you're already paying for that. Now you decide, I'm 200 hours in, 300 hours into Final Fantasy 14. I'm going to give them $13 for the next 2 months to continue playing up until a certain point, and then go, all right, I'm maxed out. I'm at the max level, and I'll cancel my subscription until I'm ready to go back. Probably never, House. Probably never. I said yesterday when we watched the trailer, I said I probably won't pick it up. I probably won't pick it up. But who knows? I'm not really a Souls guy. I played Elden Ring. I played like 70 hours of it. Enjoyed my time, but I never even finished the boss. Never finished the main boss. I think I fought like 7 or 8 bosses. I think. So you have to buy the expansions after the first trial because it's a little pricey if you had to pay for Game Pass too. Yeah, you just like Elder Scrolls Online. Yeah, you have to buy the expansions. See, you guys are looking at it kind of weird, Eclipse. When I played an MMO in the past, I just paid the $15 for that, right? Like every month I paid $15 to play Star Wars Galaxies, World of Warcraft, whatever it was, right? Game Pass is something completely different. Game Pass is completely something different. So if I'm playing an MMO, there's a monthly fee. MMOs that are on Game Pass, if you have Game Pass, you're paying for a monthly fee, but you're not paying a monthly fee for that game. You're paying a monthly fee for the service of what Game Pass is, right? And whatever tier that is, that's 25 games, 100 games, 400 games, PC, cloud gaming, whatever, right? You're paying whatever price you're picking, and that's this. Now, this game is on this, and you can play this. Now, if I want to buy Elder Scrolls Online, okay, I can play all their content for free, but the newest one I got to pay $40 for because that's the newest content. That's how they stay in business. Every year they come out with an expansion. You can buy that new expansion, or you can just play the old expansions up to that point and never spend a dime, unless you want extra storage or whatever else. Yeah, $40 each. That's usually how it works, though. Dolphin says, I don't have time to rage and die 1,000 times in Souls games. Don't the expansions come with the sub? No. No, you have to buy the expansions. That's how every MMO has ever worked in the past. Does Final Fantasy do it differently? The newest expansion, so for instance, if the next expansion's out or coming out, you're going to pay $40 for that new expansion. And then the other expansions are included into the other part. That's how Elder Scrolls works. That's how ESO works. Final Fantasy 17, I'm sorry, Final Fantasy. Fallout 76 expansions come with Game Pass. Final Fantasy, I keep saying Final Fantasy. Fallout 76 is not an MMO. Just saying. That's what, 24 people, 32 people on a map? Not an MMO. Completely different. And that's a completely different take because that's also a first-party title, and it's not an MMO. Where Elder Scrolls Online is a massive multiplayer online game, where Fallout 76 is not. Because if that's an MMO, that means Sea of Thieves is an MMO, Forza Horizon 5 is an MMO, and those are not MMOs. Let's see. Other are still paid for. The newest one coming out will be paid as well. Haven Ward and Stormblood are part of the trial. Starbridge and Endwalker are still paid for, and the newest one will be coming out in the paid. But at a certain time, Shadowbringers will go into that other thing. You see what I'm saying? And then Endwalker and whatever expansion's coming out now will be the paid ones. ESO does the exact same thing. ESO is a joke as an MMO? I mean, it's an MMO. I mean, it doesn't affect me because I play on PC. Just thinking of having to pay for both subs, and you have to pay for the expansions is a little pricey. But again, if you're putting that much time into, you probably like that game, right? And again, you're paying for both because you're not just paying for Game Pass to just play that game. Maybe you are. Maybe you're a person that doesn't have a PlayStation or doesn't have a PC and just has an Xbox, and now you've never known about Final Fantasy 14 before, and now you get hooked. And you're paying the $13 for Final Fantasy. But if you already have Game Pass, and you already have Game Pass. You see what I'm saying? Like, if you're an Xbox person, you already have Game Pass, you're already paying that for the other things that's on Game Pass. And now if you're paying this MMO, then you have to pay the fee for the MMO. What it is. I agree, Krebsy. Hence why most of MMOs, hence why I'm telling you, I have a video on this. I think they're going to take World of Warcraft, move it over to Game Pass. Okay? They're going to move it over to Game Pass. They're going to take the Battle.net and just merge it in. So anyone that's paying a monthly fee for World of Warcraft is going to now pay the monthly fee to Game Pass. Peter's paying Paul right now, right? Activision's owned by Microsoft. There's users over here that are making $15 a month when they could take these $15 a month over here and now merge it into this because it's the same entity. Well, not millions of dollars, Sarge. I think billions. I think it's at billions now. Yeah, on average, the annual revenue for Elder Scrolls Online is about 18 mil. Data Science founded that the following key financial metrics of ESO extensive research. 18 mil. So it's been out for 11 years. So they're 1.8 billion. Back in 2014, the data is, let's see, random customers are actually showing that the real revenue of these games. Hold on. 111 million, is that correct? That was back in 2014. I don't know how real that is. A form. I mean, back when it came out, the game only sold 1.44 million copies in a month. Right? And it took so long for them to get sales. And here we are, like 11 years later. I think WoW is the single longest lasting MMO at this point. RuneScape. Yeah, RuneScape's out there. Best MMO, honestly. Old school RuneScape. Changed my mind. Which came out first? RuneScape or World of Warcraft? ...2001, RuneScape. That's still going today. Is it not? Yeah, RuneScape came out January 4th, 2001. World of Warcraft came out November 23rd of 2004. Man, I haven't played RuneScape 20 years. Yeah, I want to say about 20 years. You pay $60 for Dawn Trail and gets you access to the content that would also take a normal person 5 to 8 months. So you complete Dawn Trail will cost $135 for the average person. Which what DLC is that for? Or expansion is that for? For what game? I don't even know. Old school RuneScape was my entire childhood and a good portion of it and my early adulthood. Now you can play the full version of old RuneScape, retail RuneScape, on your phone, now with touch controls. Well, that's pretty cool. But no one's playing mobile. No one's playing on small phones, Argus, right? Right? There's no reason for them to put it on the mobile phone because nobody's playing that on the mobile. Oh, the next Final Fantasy 14 expansion. Okay, thank you. So I tried to find a video, which was really hard to do because back then I was switching, and I think I deleted it. But between 30 and Still Gaming's channel and this new channel, 30 NSG, I remember seeing Dead Island 2, which I think was a tail end of my last channel and the beginning of this channel. And I talked about Dead Island 2, and I was like, that looks like a Game Pass game. Then it came out, and I said, it actually looks pretty good when they showed more about the game. On GXG, we talked about how I was like, you know what? I think it'll be pretty good. I think it'll do very well. And it did. It did do well. It didn't do great, but it did sell well for them. I think it was the best game that they created for that. But now, Shadow Drop Dead Island 2 is now on Xbox Game Pass. Okay? And I did say that this game is a Game Pass game when it came out. I was like, it'll be on Game Pass. Now, I did say within a year. Okay? So, ta-da. Just to make sure, I'm pretty sure this game came out in April. Dead Island 2 release date. Yeah, April 21st, 2023. And now we're in February. So 10 months. And it's out on Dead Island 2 is the next game available on Xbox Game Pass, with other games coming to the subscription service. It seems, though, that Microsoft was holding off to announcement for a later date. The game is now appearing as available on Xbox Game Pass console as well as the cloud. Huh. Imagine that. Another game that you could play on the cloud. It's worth noting that Microsoft has yet to make the announcement of the game coming to the service. That said, it seems like it's a moot point, with clearly showing up for players. Dead Island 2 launches on April 2023. Should not have an Xbox Pass or Xbox. The game is also available on PC, PlayStation 5, and PlayStation 4. Okay, so there you go. So it's on there, and now you too can kill zombies. I think they patched it. I don't think you can kill everybody on a box now, but you too can stand on a box and kill all the zombies that you want. Kids have it good now. Everything's on the phone. I don't blame them either. It's just those that play classic WoW. Candy Crush is my jam. Y'all, that's my guilty pleasure. Really? Do you really play that? I could see it. I could see it, Mo. I could see you playing Candy Crush. While you're standing waiting for your barbecue to cook, you're like... Star Wars The Old Republic would be up there as well, not to pay to win because the player economy is broken in that game. I really like the story in that game. I gotta go back and start playing that game again as well. So many games. Don't have enough time. I love Argus that you're like, I'm gonna pick it up on Game Pass and play it. You're like, I have so much backlog of games I can't play. And you're like, I'm just gonna leapfrog this in front of those games. I got two other stories. I want to watch this video. I don't know if I really want to talk about the PSVR shit. I guess we can. We'll talk about it. Why not? That's exactly why my backlog's like that, Mike. Like, I really like these games. You're like, oh, what's that? I like that game better. This is why I play a game, and when I get a game, I play at minimum 20, 30 hours. And then I'm like, I can pull back the gas a little bit. You know what I mean? So, a few years ago, I said, this is before PlayStation started putting games on the PC, right? And I said that they will start putting games on PC. And then I said they will be putting games day and date on PC. And more leans towards that. Now, it's not happening yet, but it will because of the way the industry is going, okay? And this is just yet one more stepping stone, I think, towards that. Now, obviously, this doesn't mean that day and date's coming. And it's not factual as of yet. But, you know, So Sony is now testing the PSVR 2 support for PC. Okay? I mean, why would they do that? Why would you... The thing that you need a PlayStation 5 for, why would you need to try to make it work with PC? Sony PlayStation VR 2 headset is designed to work exclusively with the PlayStation 5, but the company is now testing out support for PC. While the original PSVR headset got unofficial support for the PC, Sony now says it's working on allowing the PSVR 2 owners to connect the headset to a PC gaming rig. Now, this is going to be interesting because I think that them being on the console, they can make it how they want because there's no competition because it's proprietary to their system. But now you're putting that headset where it works with PC, and then I don't think you're going to sell too many more unless it's underpriced against other headsets that work on PC. But most of the other headsets work on PC, but they're better quality on the PC and standalone stuff. So now you're competing. This is not competing with VR headsets. But as soon as you make this compete with the PC headsets, it becomes a different ball game. Okay, so right now they have a captive audience because if you want to play VR games on the PlayStation 5, you need this headset, and that's all you can do. But now if they can make this headset work with the other games on PC, well, now this headset becomes one of the many headsets that you can purchase for your headsets and whatnot, and then vice versa. Now, if I can use the PSVR only on the PlayStation 5, why? And then I can use it for PC, but then I can't use the Meta Quest on my PlayStation 5. That's a bonus for them as well. So it says, quote, "We're pleased to share that we're currently testing the ability for PlayStation VR 2 players to access additional games on PC, to offer even more game variety in addition to the PSVR 2 titles available through the PlayStation 5. It says Sony in a blog post today. "We hope to make a support available in 2024 to stay tuned for more updates." Up until now, Sony has been dodging questions about getting the PlayStation VR 2 headset working on PC, and were asked at Sony about the PSVR 2 support for PC a year ago. The company would only say that the PSVR 2 is created for the use with the PlayStation 5 console. And when tested, the headset on the PC last year, it was picked up on the second screen by Windows, but Steam VR didn't recognize the headset. Modders have been trying to get the PSVR 2 working on the PC ever since it launched, and with the IVRY attempting to reverse the engineered hardware, we've reached out to Sony to clarify exactly what the access additional games on PC means, whether to support or be limited to certain games. They'll be up accordingly. So it's very interesting because a lot of the, again, when I say this, the fanboys, the people that are sleeping with their Xboxes and doing nasty things with it, these people think that their PlayStation's never going to PC. And I hate to tell you, the industry moves together. Okay? Yes, in your world, PlayStation, Sony is against Microsoft, Xbox. But in their world, Sony, PlayStation, Microsoft, Xbox, and Nintendo all working together in the industry to move technology and everything else forward. So when everyone says that cloud gaming is not going to happen, it's never going to happen, the infrastructure, I'll bet against you with the companies, because if they want to move it forward, because it's just in the United States, a $57 billion industry, and worldwide, it's much, much bigger. Those industry leaders will pay the chunk of change they need to get that infrastructure up and running, because that's what they want you to do. Cause the problem, sell the solution, okay? And they're all moving towards cloud. They're all moving towards mobile devices. They're all moving towards streaming, okay? So if you think that this is not going to happen because you're sleeping with one of your boxes, you're very naive. This is going to happen if you like it or not. Less games are in stores. More things are moving across cross-platform. More things are going to the cloud. This is going to happen if you like it or not, because the industry, wants it to, because it's more money in their pockets. And this is why the PlayStation VR, okay, will work on PC. This is why your Portal will probably be a more better system than it is right now, where you can only play PlayStation games on it, okay? But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments section down below. If you like what we do here, make sure you check out some of our other videos. Please make sure you share, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching. There are those games owned by Sony that I thought all gamers of third party only extensive because of Sony Check. Don't tell me how to treat my Xbox 30. It's all consensual. Hey, where you stick your Xbox, none of my business. Question: do you think the internet will stop talking about Microsoft every single day? This is the only channel that I'm not being bombarded about Microsoft and what they do. Well, I don't. You might want to hold off for a second, Prosy, because I do have an article about Microsoft and the Intel Strike custom chip deal. So, but I know what you mean. No, I think most YouTubers that are successful, unlike myself, they go what the clickbait titles are. See, I give a generic broad stroke, right? I don't make a thumbnail just for like this specific story. I do uploads afterwards, but my morning shows and stuff is about a bunch of different things because I like the industry. I like gaming. I like having conversation. I like talking, right? If you couldn't tell. Okay. So again, when everyone always tries to make me into something that I'm not, that's on them. And I'm too old to give a shit. I'm like, what's his name? Glover? Danny Glover? I'm too old for this shit from Lethal Weapon. I'm too old for this shit. Would it be a handheld? Who knows? I didn't read the article. We'll read it together. The next Xbox is going to have an Intel chip. That would be crazy. Perhaps. They're spending a lot of money. Well, a lot of money to me. $15 billion for them is just like a... $15 billion. I mean, that's 2 years worth of Game Pass at the numbers it is right now. Right? Because they make about $515 million a month. Or is it $545 million? I forget. Just based off the 35 number that we have on average. So that's $1 billion every 2 months. So every 2 months, so that's $6 billion a year. Yeah, it's like 2.5 years. 2 years and a couple months for this deal. And obviously that's just one avenue. What's $15 billion for the world's largest company in the world? Right. What's the return on investment on that? All right, so Microsoft and Intel strike a custom chip deal that could be worth billions. With Microsoft's deal initial notched a big partnership as a seek of regain its former position at the top of the chip manufacturer. Now, this goes into, before I even read the articles, I haven't read the article yet, this is a much bigger thing than we as just gamers look at, right? Like, I don't like talking about real politics or anything like that, but we do know that a couple years ago that Korea was trying to take over certain land property and try to invade so they can get the places that are making chips, because that's what makes the world go around. Chips are not just for your Xboxes and PlayStations and Nintendos. It's for cars and computers and all these other things. And whoever owns the rights and whoever can control and maintain this stuff is big bucks, right? So Intel will be producing custom chips designed by Microsoft for Microsoft as part of the deal, and Intel says it's worth more than $15 billion. Intel announced that the partnership during the Intel Foundry event today, although neither company specified what the chips would be used for. Bloomberg noted that today that Microsoft has been planning an in-house design for both processor and AI acceleration. It says, quote, "We're in the midst of a very exciting platform shift that will be fundamentally transform productivity for every individual organization and entire industries," said Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella. Okay, official press release. Because the chips will also use Intel 18A process. This is some geek talk here when I'm going to start, right? Which is above my head. I don't speak this. I don't speak this type of geek, right? I don't know what the 18A is and whatnot, which has also been a big part of its roadmap since the company brought CEO Pat Gelsinger back to turn things around. The company is counting on chips foundry services, okay, to put back on top of the chip making world. It seems that Microsoft will be the first major consumer for this project. Like, leaning on to producing other designs in the playbook that worked well for the competitor, Taiwan manufacturer company, TSMC, which has lucrative partnerships with companies like Apple, Qualcomm, AMD, Gelsinger told VentureBeat. But today, the company's foundry is about the big part of the strategy. Intel's new foundry plans come as more companies seek, produce, and their own self-designed chips, but still faces challenges. Intel recently pushed back on the opening of a $20 billion Ohio chip plant in 2026. It was originally slated for 2025, citing slow chip market and delay in government grants. Now, this is what I'm talking about, right? There was only 3 major chip manufacturers in the world. Okay? This is pulling back the curtain a little bit to reality. I don't like to do that because we talk about video games here, but this is a chip. This is Microsoft. We talk about technology and whatnot. There was companies that they couldn't pump out enough chips, hence why we had a shortage for a lot of things. There was like Polarises and cars that weren't coming on the lots because the chips weren't being made. It takes months and months and months to produce these chips for these certain things. So they decided that they were going to make another chip manufacturer inside the United States, which is in Ohio, which was supposed to open next year, which is now opening up in 2 years, okay? So what does this mean, right? What does this mean for you as a customer? Well, it means that, well, if Intel has these chips, well, maybe the Xbox right now for the chips that they have, if they decide to make the next Xbox or the next whatever machine they decide to make, that they could bring down the cost because now they are making the chips, okay? It's their own chip design. So they could bring down the cost of these things. Now, obviously, it wouldn't bring down the cost to you, the consumer. They'll throw that cost towards us so we can pay for those things. But they wouldn't lose as much off of each things, or maybe they wouldn't lose money at all off of these consoles, right? Imagine in a world, and again, I'm just speculating here, throwing out stuff, just ideas like I like to do. Imagine them making a chip that then goes into that new dongle device that I've been talking about for years, where Phil Spencer showed the little keystone above, I talked about it before he even showed it. Now he showed it and said it's years off or whatever. Well, let's just say that these chips are going into those boxes, and those boxes are now $100, right? Where anyone can pick one up and it's no problem, and it comes with Game Pass for 3 months or 6 months or whatever else, and now they're making profit off of each one because not only are they making the chips for these boxes, but these boxes are cloud. They have technology that's going into it. Like, this is huge for what Microsoft is doing. See, if they want the technology to move forward, they'll make it move forward because they have the money and they'll invest into it, okay? Everyone thinks like, oh, well, cloud gaming is so far off and we don't know what's happening. We have no idea what they're working on behind the scenes and what can make it better, what the infrastructure they're putting in. Maybe some of you actually work in the industry. Maybe you're laying the wires down. Maybe you know more than I do, and it'd be awesome. Educate me. Let me know, okay? But I know, okay, that technology is moving exponentially forward, right? We showed that AI program about videos the other day. What do you think's happening with everything else? Do you think just everyone's just sitting back, relaxing, going, cloud game will be here in like 30 years? No, exponentially faster. So they're making these chips. They're doing this deal. It could be a handheld device. It could be a next console device. It has maybe nothing to do with video games in general. Maybe it's just for other things out there. Microsoft has got their hands in so many different categories, government-wise, military-wise, medical-wise, video games, where they're making money across the board, hand over fist, hence why they're one of the most successful companies. Right now, they're the leaders, but they'll get overtaken again and back and forth between Apple and Microsoft and Amazon or whatever. So let me know what you think in the comment section down below. What do you think this means for this custom chip from Intel and Microsoft teaming up and making their own chips now? Are they a force to be reckoned with now in the chip manufacturer and what they put into? Let me know in the comment section down below. These are just my thoughts. Let me know yours. If you like what we do here, check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about this Intel? $15 billion. Obviously, I think it does something for the next system that they're working on. One, I think they don't want to be caught again if we have another world pandemic, right? I think they don't want to rely on those manufacturers anymore. They want to make sure they have their own stash. Like, we look at it and go, oh, they're going to make their own console. Make consoles even more like PCs. Right, Titan? Oh, yeah, Lurker. Okay? Like, that's the thing, right? Everyone competes, and then when it doesn't fit the narrative, they're like, well, that's Microsoft, not Xbox. Last time I checked, Xbox is Microsoft. Right? But when people are looking at it, right? Like, if you can't say Microsoft Xbox, then you can't say Sony PlayStation. You see what I'm saying? They're like, well, PlayStation's outselling Xbox. Well, yeah, well, Microsoft is outselling Sony. Right? In this one division, yes, PlayStation's better than Xbox. But in the bigger picture, Microsoft makes a crap ton of money, and this is just one little iota in the larger scheme of stuff where the PlayStation's a big portion of what Sony does. They need people to get, right? They need 100 million people to buy a box. They need 100 million people to potentially buy a PSVR. They need 100 million people to buy the Portal. And they know they can't get 100 million people to buy it. That's why they keep going into the same pocket, right? The person that has a PlayStation 5, right? Think about this. Everyone's a customer, but there's a saturation point. So let's just say they get 155 million PlayStation 5s out there, right? Fantastic. Okay. Now, at 155 million people that have a PlayStation, now they need to sell these niche market of PSVRs to the people that only have a PlayStation, right? Everybody else is not in the market anymore, right? So before everyone has a console, before they have a PlayStation 5, everyone's a customer. Then they get the PlayStation, and then the only customers that are there for them now are the people that have a PlayStation 5. So the PSVR is now only for this amount of people. Well, it's a niche market anyway. And then the only amount of people that can get the Portal is the people that have a PlayStation, right? So they limit themselves so much so they have to try to dive back into the same pocket that gave them money in the first place, the loyals, right? The consumers that sleep with their boxes, okay? Where they talk all this stuff, where Microsoft, they don't have to sell anything. They don't care if you buy an Xbox, if you get a subscription model, if you're playing it on a television set, because they're making deals all over the place. Everybody's a customer all the time. Let's see. AMD is going to lose a lot of money on the Intel current chip upcoming upgrade ahead of everything AMD has. Crowded House says, I heard Sony was in trouble a few years back. PlayStation can't hold up the entire company. No, well, this is why... Well, look at what Sony just did with Madam Web, right? Sony made so much money with Spider-Man, and they have to make a Spider-Man movie every couple years. Well, now that they have a backlog of characters to use, they don't have to make Spider-Man, okay? They can make other movies just to keep the license. So they would rather throw $100 million at a shitty movie just so they can keep it for another 5 to 10 years. Right? Because that IP, Spider-Man movie made over $1 billion, right? Almost $2 billion. Was it 1.8? Something like that? What did Spider-Man make? The last Spider-Man movie. Right? Almost $2 billion? $1.9 billion. Yeah. $1.9 billion. That Spider-Man movie technically can fund 10, 12 other Spider-Man films that could all lose money. Think about that. Off that one movie, okay, they could make 10 $200 million budget films and they can all bomb and still be profitable. People like to comment on how not that long ago Microsoft was privately considering closing the Xbox department. Meanwhile, not long ago, the entire Sony as a company was about to file bankruptcy. Yeah, I think it was like, 2014? About 10 years ago. I don't know if it was past or earlier than that, or sooner than that, just recently. But I remember 2014, Sony was looking to get picked up. Right, not just the PlayStation division, all of Sony. Sony movies are bombing now, though? Sure. But again, the bigger picture is that they could float, right? They could float with the Spider-Man. Now, obviously, in a world, like, if I make money, I can spend my money however I want, right? It's not just like, oh, I have to take this money that you guys give me here and I have to spend it on video games, right? I can go on vacation. I can do stuff with it. So Sony at $1.9 billion off of Spider-Man film. Let's just say in a world where they only can spend that money on films afterwards, right? They don't spend it anywhere else. They could literally make 10 bad films at $200 million a piece, okay? And they would still have money left over to make one of those hits, right? So they make 10 films, 9 of them are just garbage, just so they can keep the license going. And that one film that comes back, Spider-Man 4, boom, makes another $1 billion. Yeah, but you know what the funny part is? A lot of people don't know that, though. A lot of people don't know about Sony, like, having issues, right? Is it hard to make a decent movie? No, it's not hard to make a decent movie. The problem with a bad movie with bad writing, right? We don't have Marvel fatigue. Right? We don't have superhero fatigue. We have shitty movie fatigue. Okay? Bad writing fatigue. Right? Like, bad movies have been coming out, bad shows have been coming out because of the writing and stuff in it. And the problem is they're having bad writing and bad stuff with really big budgets. You could be a shitty movie and be a shitty show. Just make sure your shitty show and shitty movie don't have blockbuster number budget. If you want to make a shitty movie or shitty film, make sure that thing's like, I don't know, 10 mil, 20 mil, okay? Because you can make your money back on that, right? You can't make your money back on a shitty movie if it's $300 million. Not going to happen. Very rarely. The Spider-Man point is particularly incorrect. Sony owns the film rights, period. There is no less than law of Fox or X-Men. This is Marvel is forced to make deals with them. No. They own Spider-Man, not outright. They own Spider-Man as long as they keep making Spider-Man films. Hence why in the last 20 years, we've had Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, we had Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, then we had Tom Holland Spider-Man, and that's why they have to keep making Spider-Man films. Because if they don't make a Spider-Man film, they lose the rights. They lose the rights to Spider-Man. This is why Venom for them was very successful, because now they have other characters they can go with. And this is why they're trying to make a Craven film. This is why they're trying to make the offspring of Morbius. This is why they try to make a Madam Web. They lose the rights to Spider-Man if they don't make a Spider-Man film. Hence why Universal lost, because they weren't doing anything with Hulk, right? They still own the rights to Hulk, but they lose the rights and they went back to them. This is why Disney's trying to make a Hulk movie, but they're still having problems with it. There's a lot that goes behind the scenes. And you are correct. Spider-Man film rights are owned by them, but they don't own the rights to Spider-Man, the video game, right? That's a license to them. What will Madam Web's box office name be? I don't know. I'm trying to think of something. I got nothing. You got something already ready to go, Krebsy? Yeah, Craven's coming out. Lou Ferrigno is still the best Hulk. Yeah, so did we look last week or this week for Madam Web? Oh, the next weekend hasn't happened yet. Yeah, there. Here, I'm gonna look it up right now. They had like what 2 million last Friday or whatever, or I'm sorry, Monday. Let's see what Madam Web's doing now. It's got to be under 1 million each day. Under 2. Yeah, so Tuesday brought in 1.7. So this movie won't even break 100 mil. This movie's dead. Dead. This movie won't break. Maybe with the worldwide, these numbers are going to be very slow moving. Even if it does this weekend, if it does half of what they did here, we're talking 3, 4, 5, 6 million. Yeah, this won't even break anywhere near. Because you could add 6 million here, and let's say you add 6 million here, that's an additional 12 million. It'll be around 60, 65 mil, maybe 67 million worldwide. This movie is not. This movie's done. Because you're going to have a 70% drop-off rate. 70, 74. You might even have bigger. You might have record-breaking for Madam Web drop-off this weekend. Right? It made 6 million. It might make like 1 million this week and maybe 2 million. I did the Final Fantasy one. Sony PSR. Did the Intel. Doing good. We're gonna stay a little live a little longer today. We're gonna go probably past 12:30. All right. So a couple other notes for the Star Wars Battlefront Collector's Collection, or Classic Collection, I should say. Yesterday, we didn't know. We talked about what's in the game. A couple other price points came out today. It said the price might also be a little bit off-putting. Aspire said that Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection will go on for $35.01. Really weird why they're putting $35.01. Someone was crunching the numbers behind the scenes and like, well, to make our margins back, we need to charge $35.01. They're like, we can't charge $34.99. Nope. We need $35.01 because that will get us over the mark that we need. Okay, so presumably a reference to the 50 first. Okay. Legion has also formed a backbone for Battlefront 2's campaign. It's actually listed into $34.99 on the Xbox and PlayStation stores. No price has been posted on the Steam at this point. But either way, it seems a little high for these separate Battlefront Classic games for $10 each on Steam. And that doesn't include the bonus content. But close to twice the price strikes me as a lot to pay for a handful of new maps and characters, restored multiplayer, and perhaps the biggest hook, but the Steam and GOG versions already support 64-player multiplayer with crossplay between the storefronts. Now, Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection is set to come out on March 14th. Anyone who already owns either the original Battlefront or Battlefront 2 on Steam or Xbox will receive a 20% loyalty discount on the new Classic Collection during the pre-order period. Okay, I've also reached out to Aspire for more information on the other changes coming to the game, and we'll update as I receive a reply. There you go. So you get 20% off if you already own the game. I own them on Xbox and PlayStation respectively back in the old days. So, or actually PlayStation for the other ones. I own the new ones on Xbox. So I'm gonna have to buy them again. I mean, $35.01. What do you pay? You got the Disney tax there right now, and I think that's why it's a little bit more. It's $10, but obviously Star Wars is owned. So I'm assuming Aspire, and because they're doing some sort of update here, they had to get the licensing and stuff from Disney. So I would assume that's the extra money that's coming out from it. Obviously, if you want to play the game and you don't care about the new maps, you can get the older versions right now. And if you do want to get it, I think it's a good price if you're a Star Wars fan and nostalgic. You're getting 2 games. Right? 2 games if you've never had them before, and you're on Xbox and PlayStation. Obviously, you can't buy the older versions anymore unless you go to the store and you still have your old PlayStation. But now you can get them, and they have the updated characters, new maps, and whatnot, and they also support the 64-player multiplayer now. So I think it's a good price. Obviously, if you wait a couple of months, it'll go down in price just like anything else because they want to get the people that are rampant nostalgic about these games and get people hyped up about it. People will play it for like a weekend, 2 weekends, and then it'll go down in player base. So get ready yourself for the articles that'll say Star Wars Battlefront numbers are better than Suicide Squad, and then about 2 weeks later you'll see Well, they lost 95% of all the players in that. Those articles will happen. Did some Disney executive say you can't sell it for a penny less than 35? Is the dev saying F you? I think what they're saying is it's because the 501st. They might have said that it's 35, 34.99. You know, with the tax, whatever. It's it all depends where you're buying it from. But 35.01, it makes sense for that. PVE is just boring as shit for me. Just a personal preference. PVE or PvP? PVE you think is boring? I don't know, man. Playing Helldivers with just the PVE is pretty intense. These are the fucktards that couldn't do KOTOR. Oh, Aspire? Even PvP, all my PvP gear has either been made myself or bought using the money I made on PvE illegally. Buying credits doesn't make they pay to win. I guess WoW and pay to win. Helldivers 89 trash. Look, I hope the game comes out and it's fun. We'll probably pick it up. I don't know if I'll pick it up right away. It all depends on what's playing. I know I'm interested in the Mudrunners Expedition card game that's coming out. I might pick that up and buy it new. I reached out to them to see if I can get a code so I can play it. But we'll see what happens. Remasters makes money, it seems. It makes money because it doesn't cost as much to make, right? Come on, John. It makes money because it's not as hard to make. I mean, what goes on? What do you think? I don't know. I don't know. But let's say that the normal game back in the day cost 20 mil, right? $20 million budget. Do we think that what they just did here even comes close to that budget of 20 mil? I wonder if I can look that up. They never tell you stuff like this. Let's see. Gameplay, plot, development, sales. Have a budget. That's Battlefront 2. Oh, Battlefront 1 came out in what, 2004? Yeah. That was another crazy thing back then, right? You had Battlefront 1 and 2 come out like consecutively, like back-to-back years, and it was like 2004, 2005. I'm trying to look up real fast here. Yeah, there's nothing. Here it says United States Battlefront's computer version sold 290,000 copies and earned 2.6 million by August. In August 2006, after the release of September 2004, 65th best-selling computer game between January of 2000 and August 2006. Combined sales of Battlefront computer games released between January 2000 and August 2006 has reached 460,000 units in the United States by a later date. By July of 2006, PlayStation 2 has sold 1.5 million copies and the earnings of 53 million in the United States. Right? And that was successful. Just put that in perspective. Okay? The PlayStation 2 sold more than 1.5 million, and that was a successful game. So what was the budget for that? It only sold 1.5 million. Right? Now if that game comes out, and it sells less than 5, garbage to the public. And this is why I talk about like Suicide Squad. I'm like, everyone thinks that 3 million copies might be ending for them. It could, but we don't know the budget. That numbers don't lie. If a budget comes out and that game only cost them 50 million, right? And it sold 2 million copies across all platforms, that's a success, right? Look at Remedy with Alan Wake 2. The best sales they've ever had for their games, 1.5 million. If we look at that game and anywhere else, everyone's like, "Oh, that's garbage," right? We don't know the budget. We don't know the budget to that game. They know the budget and they know what's successful. All right. There's a podcast that Krebsy posted in our Discord. Okay, I got to post. Actually, let me do this real fast before we update the... Because I wasn't going to watch it, and then... It's the Steak and Eggs podcast. Okay. It's Asmongold's, right? So we're going to pause the music. There's a video here, and we're about 49 minutes into the actual podcast, okay? 49 minutes into the podcast, they start talking about the game industry has changed, right? I watched a little bit of it before we started. So I would like to watch the rest and remainder, and we'll talk about it as we go. So we'll have comments as we go, okay? So they're talking about, so if you guys don't know, this is Asmongold over here. I don't know this man's name, but he's the head of OTK, which is owned by Asmongold. And then this is their podcast. I watch it every once in a while, but not very, ritually, as I probably should though. I like watching Asmongold. So here we go. We're gonna listen to this, and I'll pause it along the way as we go. What's going on, El? Sorry.
Dude, so many good games have been coming out, man.
It's nuts. Like, I actually don't have enough time to play video games.
Yep. So do you want me to dish out some industry knowledge for a second?
I would love that.
Imagine, don't have time. We were just talking about this in the very beginning of the show. Not having time.
So this is crazy. More games released the past 3 years on Steam than every other year combined.
What?
Yes.
That's a fact?
We're
Yes,
hitting
that is a fact.
A video game singularity.
So last year, yes, we are actually, funny enough. So last year, 15,000 games approximately came out on Steam.
Holy shit. Just on Steam, 15,000 games came out.
This year, estimates are anywhere between 22 to 29,000 because of all the COVID development that happened and people switching careers.
Holy Christ. 29,000 this year are coming projected.
Holy shit.
100. The top 100 games on Steam make up 91% of the revenue. The prohibitive factor of
The top 100 games. No, he's not a paraplegic. He's cold and he's got a blanket. What's wrong with you, Mo?
game's success is no longer how good it is, but how well it's marketed. You know, which is kind of why we started Mad Mushroom. This is our big thesis is like the saturation is getting to a crazy point where even AAA studios, you're seeing all these layoffs. Why are these layoffs happening?
It was so sad to see the Prince of Persia game, man. Like, it was so sad.
What's the problem?
Because it only sold apparently like 300,000 copies. And
Wait. What did?
seeing all these layoffs. Why are these layoffs happening?
It was so sad to see the Prince of Persia game, man. Like, it was so sad.
What's the problem?
Because it only sold apparently like 300,000 copies. And
Now, see, I don't know what they're like. 300,000 for Prince of Persia doesn't sound very good, but we don't know the price of what it cost them to make that game. So yeah, to us, the consumers were like, if it doesn't sell 1 million copies, it's a. I don't know if it's a fail. Did they come out and say it didn't? They didn't expect it to be that low. I don't know. He's talking of it that it's bad.
And
yeah.
I mean, the truth is that the market sees a Metroidvania game and they think this is an old game. It's not worth $60.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, as somebody who bought Castlevania and Metroid for $50 and $60 back in the 90s, or at least my mom did, I had no problem buying this game, right? And also, I'm a streamer. It's a big advantage too.
Yeah.
And the game was great, but people see that and it's like everybody always says, oh, we want smaller scale, simpler games, but then they come out and people just like, it just doesn't catch on. And
Well, there's a lot to that, right? There's a lot to that. I'm not interested in Prince of Persia because I played the old Prince of Persia games. And to me, I know this is a great game, but as an older gamer, I don't want to kind of go back to that. Now, there are small indie games that I'm interested in. Prince of Persia just didn't capture me this time around. And that's the sad part about it. A lot of people just brush it off and be like, that's not for me. But that's not on us. That's on them to go, hey, we're going to make a game. And what makes people want to buy that game? They'll just wait. They'll just wait for it to go on sale.
I felt so bad about the Prince of Persia game because, like, that's an example. Like, that's a Ubisoft game. Ubisoft is this AAA studio, and I know people hate on Ubisoft, but this game was actually this was a fundamentally good game.
If that game came out 5 years ago, right now it'd be like hailed as one of the best games of the year. It would have won awards, millions of copies sold. The problem is there's just too much coming out, and there's a reason for that. The big reason is game development is becoming democratized, where like anybody, literally kids, can make games now.
Yeah.
We had a conversation a couple months ago. I said, my problem with Unreal Engine 5, okay, is that anybody can make a game. Anybody can make a game, and they all look similar, and someone can take advantage of the system and be like a, what's that game that we all made fun of? Oh, The Day Before, okay, and make a game like that. Or Quinfall, okay, which is the MMO that's supposed to come out. And that's the problem with this, where people they have the tools where they can make it, and it's great for the industry. Great, anyone can make a game. But now all the games are the same. All the games come out at the same time. You only have the same amount of time, right? So now, as a game developer, you got to make a game that's hot, popular, in the way it is. And I would assume it'd be the way that you market it now. We talked about this a couple of months ago when the guy was making a game on Steam and said, it's all about the research. He took a year's worth of his time to talk about the research of when to drop the game and then bounce it off of people on how to market it.
Yeah. There's people that have had virtually no experience playing games. I think similar to one or two of the Pal World devs, virtually no experience making games before. Now, in just a few years' time, are able to match or exceed the quality of like developers that have been in the space for like 20 years. So that in combination with just the booming indie market, improved ways for indies to distribute their games to like Steam and stuff like that, everything's changing. So yeah, game development is like going through a massive transition. AAA is suffering because it used to be if you were a AAA publisher, you stocked your game in Walmart or Target or wherever it was, GameStop, and you could sell a certain amount of copies because you controlled the distribution, or at least you had inroads with the physical distribution.
Of course.
Hence why they don't have that. Hence why the companies now have the online service, the streaming services, where they can push what games they want you to see and get. And Microsoft has seen the future, and this is why they're getting $10 from you, $12 from you, $18 from you, because they know the competition to sell that game at full price. There's still going to be people buying it at full price, but they would rather get the $12, $15, $18 from you each and every single month instead of trying to make a game and then put it out there for $70 for no one to buy.
Nowadays, AAA is playing pretty much on the same leveling field as everyone else. They've got more marketing channels. In some cases, they got more relationships with press and stuff like that. They perhaps have more optimized influencer marketing campaigns. But ultimately, like there's a ton of big AAA games that have released that weren't like huge IP that just tanked. Yeah. And that's why it's one of the reasons why we're seeing a lot of these layoffs.
And I think one of the big reasons why games don't do well is because they suck. That's the reason. I'm not going to go and make, name names or anything, but if you look.
Why am I sitting on the couch like my old lady? I mean, I think he's sitting on the couch because he just doesn't give a shit. He's pretty real. He does what he wants.
Look at Starfield.
Yep.
That game had a lot of fucking problems.
Yeah, it sucked.
It did. It sucked. And
I wouldn't say Starfield sucked. As far as a AAA title compared to other ones, it had its problems. But I wouldn't say it sucked. I think we're kind of spoiled as gamers. I do. I think we're spoiled as gamers. I think there's so many things. Okay, I think there's so many games out there that I think we're skewed. I think we've all become snobs as far as games, right? We sit there and we do this. I've done this before. You're like, yeah, this is good water, right? Like you played one game, right? That one Spider-Man film that made $1.9 billion. You think every movie is going to be like that. You played the one game that like is so awesome that you think every game should be like that.
And it's like, really, well, why isn't this working? Because like back in the day, Starfield would have probably been viewed as a relatively good game because you didn't have the same level.
Water says 30, it doesn't suck per se, but still haven't finished it. I can go back and play it for some reason, even after 100 hours. Yeah, but we just had a conversation earlier in the stream, Water. Majority of people don't even finish the games they have. Is that Starfield's fault? Or is it the gamer's fault, right? First, one of the stats I brought up for the Suicide Squad. Going to the Batman Museum is like within the first hour and a half. Okay, maybe 2 hours. The Penguin mission, which is like shortly after that, 3% drop, right? 20% or 17% drop off to get to that first mission. And then the next mission, 3% more drop off. People just don't finish games. Why? Time.
Of criticism, you didn't have the same level of analysis, and you also didn't have the same level of play. Like, and also people weren't as engaged as they used to be.
Yeah.
So it's like Starfield was the game that came out. And also because there are so many other games that came out.
That's the problem. So many other games come out.
Like, yeah, Starfield is good, but there's also No Man's Sky. And then there's also like 5 of these other games.
And that's another problem. We talked about this as well, right? There's the ongoing games, and then there's the games. If No Man's Sky just came out, was a regular game and didn't have updates, then people would have bought that game, played that game, put that game down. But now Starfield updates that game for the last 7 years. Well, any other space game that comes out, Star Citizen, right? Any game that comes out and they keep updating it takes the spot of the other games that are supposed to come out and thrive. We talked about this the other day in the food analogy. When you go to like Chipotle or something, if you're with your family and you all don't go in line, and then your family sits down at the table, you've now disrupted the line because the people come out. There's no place to sit because the people at the end of the line are now sitting down, right? Well, if the games are already sitting and they're done, they walk out the door, and the next game comes and sits down. In this analogy, there are no games leaving. There's just more games coming into the cafeteria, sitting down and taking spots. So then when a game comes in, they're like, wait a minute, where do I go? And it's overflooded, it's oversaturated.
That are similar to this in another way.
Yeah.
Or other games that are totally different, like Baldur's Gate 3. So it's like, why is somebody going to go and sit down and play that whenever
Did you beat that?
What?
Did you beat Baldur's Gate 3?
No, I only played the demo in 2021.
Okay.
What? He didn't play Baldur's Gate 3? He's not a gamer. I joke. I kid.
I've not even played the actual game.
I have also not beaten anything past chapter 1.
I also am that person that hasn't passed chapter 1.
Which really sucks. I know how good it is, but I saw Co Carnage's review, whose opinion is just like...
He's the guy.
He is the guy. And he said that part 3 was about a 7 out of 10 when compared to part 1.
Well, they've updated, whenever he made, I know the video you're talking about,
100%.
they've updated and improved part 3 from what I've heard, like just reading like their updates and their patch notes and everything. So it seems like that's something that's kind of being improved a lot more.
which also then just proves, even with the best games that come out that win Game of the Year, they're updating to make it better. But people have moved on. People have moved on.
Fuck yeah.
And also, like, I feel like that's a really good insight, because whenever, like, Carnage had that opinion, but I think that most people probably never got past Act 1.
Yep.
So, like, from their perspective, this was the great.
This is a great video. Watching this after everything we just talked about this morning.
Thing they've ever seen,
Yep.
because they never see any other of the end game content, which is like what's really sad for me is, like, I see a game like Armored Core 6, and it's like Armored Core 6, it just gets better and better and better, and it's like at the end of it, it's just fucking insane.
Okay, so in that analogy that he just did, that example, it wasn't even an analogy. He played the game and knows what it is. Okay, that's the difference, right? There's a game that comes out and it needs to be worked on, and then it gets better after they fix it. But then there's a game like Armored Core that comes out that just keeps getting better and better and better as you play it. You're not waiting weeks or months for them to fix the game, patch the game, move the game on. You know what I mean?
But it's like you don't really even get to that point because, well, you know, like, most people just don't really finish games. It's sad.
It does really suck, because I'm having that
Yeah.
issue too. Like, there's been so many games that I really enjoyed, but then I just didn't have the time to finish them.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. Liking something and having the time are two different things. You could love something, but your life just doesn't make it where you can play it the way you want. So then what happens is, let's say a game comes out, you absolutely love it, you put 2 or 3 hours in, and then you can't play it again for the next week. Then the next weekend comes, you put another 3 to 4 hours into it, and then you got to put it down, and then another week comes. Right? You do this for a couple weeks. You're about 20 hours in the game of this open world game that's got 80 hours into it. Okay? You have 20 hours, you're 1/4 of the game through, and then all of a sudden a new game comes in, you're like, oh, what's that? Your buddy comes over and says, hey, you're playing this game? This game is really cool. And you're like, but I'm playing this game over here. And they're like, dude, you got to play this game. And you're like, all right. Hence, backlog.
Really fucking sucks. Like, I played Abyss School recently. That game was dope. Poppy's Playtime, Chapter 3. I don't have the attention span to finish games. It's a really bad habit. I'm actually thinking about just doing another subathon or follow-a-thon, because I don't really feel like doing another subathon, to be honest. But I just need an excuse to finish the games that I've started. But it's so fucking hard.
100%. Especially if you do it as a career and, like, you've got so many things to consider. But
yep.
No, I'm with you, dude. There's just so many games. And, like, the beauty about a lot of great games, like the best games, they're timeless. So, like, it's almost like the human cultural capacity of games is like.
What's a game that you guys play that you could always go back to and play again? Right? What's that game that you can just go back to and just every once in a while you just throw it on? Right? One of those games for me, or at least it used to be, I used to just throw back Red Dead Redemption or Red Dead 2. Right? Before that, I would throw in, this is before I was streamed and stuff, right? I would always throw back in like Mass Effect. Just because, right? Back in the day, Ken Griffey Jr. Baseball, doesn't matter how old it was, I would just be able to throw it back in and play it. Borderlands, another one, right? It's just that timeless classic that you love, and you can go back and play it anytime.
Filling up, and it's like limited, because you can play like Brotato 10 years from now. I'm obsessed with this game. I'm sorry. You can play Brotato.
What is Brotato? I've never heard of that.
You've never heard of it?
Brotato, what is that?
Okay.
I need to play this, man. You just keep talking about it.
So I've got like 70, 80 hours in this game. It's like a $3 game on Steam.
Okay.
You play Vampire Survivors, obviously.
Absolutely. Love that game.
So it's basically Vampire Survivors, but like an added layer or two of depth.
Oh, I
if
see.
you think about it that way. So like,
Is this like Super Meat Boy meets Vampire Survivors?
Yeah.
Or no? It looks like Binding of Isaac.
Yeah, kind of. You're in a single room. You're in like a single static room. And there's just constant waves that come out. And then after the end of each wave, it goes to like a buy menu, and like you buy different items and upgrades and stuff like that.
This looks good.
It's so good. It is like, it's funny, Blobfish, the publisher, I messaged them on Twitter, the cringiest message where I was just like, dude, I love you guys. And like that's or something like that. But yeah, no, like there's games like this that are going to be good 10 years from now. Dark Souls is a great example. That game is going.
Basically any game on Nintendo. That's why Nintendo's so successful. Any game on Nintendo back in the old days, you could pick up an old school Mario and still play it. Now pick Mario from any generation. you could play it.
Going to be good forever.
If they bring out Elden Ring 10 years from now, it will still be Elden Ring. If
Exactly.
they bring out Elden Ring 10 years ago, it will still be Elden Ring.
Skyrim, right?
Exactly.
Same with Baldur's Gate 3. Same with Armored Core 6. Same with, I would say, Blasphemous 2, especially.
It's that good.
The gameplay is the best that I've played. To be fair, Tips, you suggested a lot of times I play Hollow Knight, right?
Oh, Hollow Knight.
You haven't played yet?
I have not beaten Hollow Knight.
You'll love it. It's
Really?
so fucking good.
Yeah, like I tried to play it 2 times. I couldn't do it.
Definitely an off-stream game, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I remember I've done like, so I'm doing the Prince of Persia game off stream, and I'm also playing a lot of like Grand Blue Fantasy off stream. And playing a game off stream is a totally different vibe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially.
Yeah, there's some games I play off stream. I just don't play them on stream. It's just a different feel, and I don't want to do anything. I just want to relax and play the game.
Something like Hollow Knight, like super immersive Metroidvania, like there's so much hidden lore in that game that's just like totally mind-blowing that like you really have to digest it off stream, I think.
I think Hollow Knight would be an on-game stream. It's the way I played it, which is we just have a map of where to go. Because I'll be real, most people spend more time trying to figure out where to go than actually playing the fucking game.
That's why I stopped playing it. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's so fucking hard to navigate.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that to me makes it miserable. Like, people, like, I did the same for Elden Ring, where people were like, dude, why are you looking up where to go? It's like, I just don't want to walk around aimlessly. I don't like that in games. I'm starting to hate open world games because that's kind of just how it is.
I understand what he's saying.
Like, I just want to be put on a train tracks. I want to do the content the way it's supposed to be done. I genuinely do not give a fuck about exploring.
Did you beat Armored Core 6?
No.
That's why I like open world games. I like exploring, but I totally get where he's coming from.
I don't want to hear about this shit.
Oh, okay. Armored Core 6 is very good.
Yeah.
It was very, a fucking amazing game. I don't know why I stopped. I beat the really hard.
He's old. He's 30.
Boss, the one who floats in the air, and then he rockets everything, and then you got to fly through the cracks.
Oh, so you mean the first boss?
Is he the first boss?
Yeah.
The first real boss, I assume?
Balteus.
That's probably him.
Yeah.
Because I got to the point, because the chat was hyping up this one boss fight that you couldn't beat. It took you like 8 hours.
Sea Spider.
Yeah, I think I crushed that. Then I was like, okay. I mean, how much more of the game was there after that?
You were about 40% done.
Wait, no. I remember what made me quit the game. Okay, I remember now. Okay, it wasn't I got busy. I legit quit the fucking game. There was this one fight where you have to survive wave after wave after wave of enemies.
Oh, I remember. I did that one on my first try.
Yep, I didn't.
Yeah.
It's 100% a mech issue. I did not feel like changing it to be a different mech. I just don't fucking care. I did not give a fuck. I did like 4 times, and it's such a miserable mission because you have to hear the same dialogue, fight the same fucking enemies, and I'm just like, nah, you know what? I'm fucking good. I rage quit so hard that game.
I hope that we see more games like Armored Core 6 come out.
Yeah.
I really do. Like, I hope we get games that are just like a slice of gameplay that is just S tier, and that's it. Like the story games, like, you know, I played the Coffin of Andy and Laylee. Those are nice. Those are cute.
Super
I love
good.
those, right? They're great. But I'm mainly a gameplay Andy. I love gameplay. I love, like, you know, in Blasphemous 2, like.
That's a different topic, right? A lot of people look at, again, this is not me shitting on Sony in any way, shape, or form, but a lot of purists, a lot of gamers look at the first-party title games on Sony, or that type of genre, like the God of Wars, where it's like a movie game. The Last of Us, the Spider-Man, the Tomb Raiders, right? Like, they look at those games, Suicide Squad is a movie game, right? Where the gameplay is not the gameplay. It's just kind of, you're controlling the guy and there's gameplay there, but it's not a true gaming experience. That's why people like playing like the Dark Souls, because that's like a game. It's like your skill and how to compete against something and do something like that.
It is, oh my God, it is so good.
Yeah.
Is it
like,
hard to navigate?
A little bit, but not really. I mean, like, it's.
Yeah, they don't care about that. They don't care about the cutscenes. They just want the gameplay to be good.
It's not even nearly as hard. And, like, you know, go back to the Prince of Persia game. You know that problem?
Alien says that's a load of BS. What's a load of BS? The people that don't like those type of games? That's not BS. If that's what you're saying, Alien.
You can literally take in-game screenshots in Prince of Persia that will show you the location of different things that you might have missed, so you don't have to, like, write them down or something like that or use a website. Like it was so innovative. I was so happy to see that.
Okay, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it was great. And I just want to see more games like that come out. But like Tips, you're right. I mean, like the games that come out, some of them, like, yeah, they don't get the publishing, they don't get any attention on them. Like Among Us is.
Yeah, I have no interest in that type of game. You know what I mean? Like, I just, to me, the Dark Souls games bring back my childhood when I played Mario and when I played Kid Icarus or I played Metroid and I would die and then I had to go back to the beginning of the level and then do it again, right? Like, I wasn't fighting the boss fight. The boss fight was, like, easy. Getting through the level over and over and over and over and over, it was, like, brutal, right? I was watching my son play Mario on the Switch, and they have a rewind button where if you die, you can just rewind and then start from that checkpoint again and then do it again. And I'm like, what the hell is that? Saying that the story-driven games are not real games? Is that what those people are saying? Yes. So the point of what I was saying is the people that want gameplay, right? Games in general is just whatever games are. If it's a real-time, open world, first-person, single-player movie, that's under the genre of games. But the purists, the wine snobs, the coffee snobs, the food snobs, the video game snobs, right? And I say that because that's in every industry, workout snob, whatever, right? Those people don't look at those games as games. They look at games as, whatever, right? Just like pretty much a lot of the gaming industry looks at mobile games and say, those aren't games, right? Those are casual gamers. As far as the gameplay snobs looking down at casual gamers and the casual gamers looking down at the mobile gamers, that's what I'm talking about. Yes, the elitists.
Is a good example of this, right? Until Soda blew that game up. And then besides that, I mean, there's plenty other ones that just never really go anywhere. Like Halls of Torment was like that. I remember because I watched Sequisha play Halls of Torment, and I was like, this game is fucking awesome. This is insane.
Right, even though the mobile gaming industry is the biggest, right.
Insanely cool. And I went and I played it, and then like the player base went up to like, 20,000 people for a while. Like a lot of people discovered this game, and that was amazing. And it's also like, games don't get like that kind of, they don't get that attention that they sometimes deserve. But I think also with like these big AAA games, especially these like major studio games, the gameplay is just really not that good.
Yeah. And
Bob says, the fuck? Rewind button? What kind of wimpy ass piece of programming is that? When I saw that, I was on the couch and my wife and my son were playing the Mario game. And he fell into the lava. And I was like, oh, you got to start over. He's like, no, I don't. Boop, 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 boop. And he just rewind. Like, by the frame. And then he did it again and failed again. And then did it again and then failed again. So instead of running through the board and then getting to that spot and failing again, he literally just went back 2 frames and then did it again. And I was like, what the hell? I was like, my whole childhood was fail, start again, do it again, and after three deaths, if you didn't get the 1-ups or whatever, you were like, ah! Right? Like you were freaking out. Completely different spot now, man.
Like it can be explained, by the way, and through macro industry trends. So one of the ways games games get financed, and there's actually a huge gap of understanding, I think. So I can talk about this for a little bit. So one of the ways games get financed is just like any other business model, you have to present a business case, whether you're pitching to a venture capital firm that's going to finance your game, private equity, or you're pitching to a publisher. You have to present a case that this game is going to make tens of billions, whatever, of dollars. And there's a concept when it comes to investment called TAM, T-A-M, total addressable market. If you cannot show that your game has a massive total addressable market to an investor who may...
Oh, no, he still fails, Akuta Papa, but he doesn't have to go all the way back to the beginning, right? He literally just goes back 2 frames and then starts right there.
It might not be super sophisticated in games content, or to a publisher who it's just some pencil pusher at the top that decides or whatever, then you're not going to get financed. So the reason why a lot of games suck nowadays, or they feel super rudimentary, or the tutorials feel like they take forever or whatever, is because they are designed from the ground up. They do not receive financing unless they can appeal to everyone. And that's one of the reasons why
when a game appeals to everyone, it appeals to nobody. And the person that just said that recently was Helldivers publishers, Arrowhead. A game for everyone is a game for no one. And I agree 100%. Not every game is meant for everybody. Okay? And that's why a lot of games fail. Because everyone wants to make the most money possible. Okay? Instead of just making a game and then selling that game, they want to make a game and they want to make sure that game's for everyone, which then becomes a game for nobody because it becomes so rudimentary, as he said, that people are bored or not interested in it. Okay? And that is the problem with most video games nowadays.
A lot of AAA games have gotten so much worse because the mechanisms that determine their financing are very much anti-hardcore. They're outdated, and they're anti-hardcore / semi-hardcore gamer, which is what we probably be categorized as.
I think Suicide Squad's in this. I think Suicide Squad's in this boat right now, right? Suicide Squad did something very well, right? I talk about respecting the player's time, and they've done that a lot in this game. They've changed. They had end game stuff in it, but at the same time, it's just because you can do everything. Yeah, sure, there's different levels to go up to, and it's for the hardcore 1%ers and stuff like that. But everything is not really a challenge. Like, you could go through that whole game without ever really, like, being challenged, right? Like my son rewinding. In Suicide Squad, you get knocked down, you get picked back up, and you start again, and you complete that game pretty fast, and it's done. It's meant for anyone that can come in, anyone can play the game, anyone can feel successful, but at the same time, they made it so casual that people put it down because they're kind of bored.
But on the flip side, it's one of the reasons why you see so many successful indie breakouts, because indie studios that can make games for much cheaper don't need to abide by the same investment restrictions, and they can make brilliant games like, you know, Brotato and Pal World and whatever it is. Right?
Brotato.
Yeah.
Are you sponsored?
No, I wish, honestly.
That is something that I wanted to ask, and I would feel horrible if I lost my opportunity to ask this. So you were a content creator for how long?
I was a content creator for about a little over 2.5 years.
And you've stepped down pretty much entirely to be, God, it's hard to say what you don't do, essentially the big boss, okay? Did that suck, or were you excited to take a step back from being a content creator?
So, very good question. I had gotten to the point, you know, we talked a little bit earlier about mental state and stuff like that. I had gotten to the point with content creation. I actually vividly remember this. It was the launch of Classic WoW. So I guess some context, I got into content creation at the end of 2017 after Classic WoW got announced. And I was super excited because this was like the game that I had played for so long, and I was finally coming back. It had been years, and, you know, so many people have been asking for it. Petitions were signed. Content creators used to like make videos.
It was a whole cultural movement.
It was a whole movement. And I got into content creation because I'm, okay, this is the time for me to pursue my passion. It's a sign. I've always wanted to make content, but, you know, I never had the opportunity. And then I started doing it. And then Classic WoW launched, I believe, in August of 2019. And I remember being so freaking miserable during the.
I know where it's coming from. This is hitting hard for me personally, right? As a content creator, doing things that want to do and the things that you have to do, and balancing that line.
Launch.
Damn.
And
I just don't give a shit. Hence why my channel's not successful. Because I do what I want to do and not what YouTube wants me to do. You know, I got my niche market. My channel's not for everyone, right? My channel's not for everyone.
It was because, you know, the stress of streaming and doing content, and we were playing 40-hour sessions, sleeping for 6 hours, 46, whatever. And at the end of that, like 2 to 3 week sprint, I vividly remember being in an office and just being like, what the hell am I doing? Like this is the thing that I just waited so many years for. Like my entire like existence centered around this.
If your chat's not refreshing, Sarge, you got to reboot. It's like a YouTube problem that's happening.
Game and just this passion, and I freaking hate it now.
Yep.
And so, but I love doing the tournaments. I love putting on big events. I love putting on big content. I love talking to sponsors. I love talking to the industry on the brand side. And so by the time we got to starting OTK, for me, there was very much a desire to branch off from content creation and get into something that was also, you know, more interesting, intellectually stimulating, and also future-proof.
This is why I do what I do now. This is why I don't play a lot of games on my channel, and I talk a lot on the channel. Because I like talking. I like having conversation. And when I played games, nobody really watched. You guys come and watch games at night when I play because I'm playing games regardless. So I was like, I might as well stream. But I talk because that's what I want to do. That's what I've always done. I've always done more talking, and this is why I started my original channel with just Generation X Gaming Podcast. And then to get more people on the podcast, to watch the podcast, I was like, oh, I'll stream. I hated streaming. I hated streaming games and staying online for 6 to 8 hours. Thought it was a waste of fucking time. Still do. Okay? Now I have a community, right? And we have a niche community where we play and we joke while we play and stuff like that. But more people tune in for me to talk and stuff than to watch me play video games.
I've got a family, right? You know, hey, honey, we can't, go visit family this month because I didn't get viewership's down, right? It's January, ad rate's low. Sorry, honey.
Got delayed.
Yeah. So that kind of lack of consistency. And
my success on YouTube will be very, very small, incremental stuff because I don't do what Asmongold does. 8 hours, 10 hours a day, multiple streams a day, every day, 7 days a week. You know what I mean? I'm the casual content creator, like someone's a casual gamer. If someone plays 2 hours a week, right, or 8 hours a week, and someone plays 8 hours a day, I'm the guy for 2 hours a week.
And forecastability, honestly, is what made me want to go behind the scenes. Then again, a startup isn't exactly the best place for stability, but I knew we'd find a way, and we did.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, that's essentially what I want to do in maybe like 5-6 years. I think I'll be doing this probably for the next 10 years or so, which when I say that out loud kind of freaks me the hell out. But every single time I think my channel is going to die, it just does the exact opposite.
You guys, you're killing it. And you two in particular, you guys are talkers, which is great. Because what is a talker? It's somebody that puts their ideas and opinions out there. And naturally, you put your ideas out there, it echoes back to you in the form of an audience. So you will naturally attract people to watch you for years and years to come.
Hey, imagine that.
Whereas a gameplay streamer, their form of entertainment is usually their skill or whatever it is.
It's really scary.
It's really scary.
Because like if you have a bad game, if you have a bad day, the more you lose, the lower the viewership gets. Unless you're somebody like Doc.
Yeah.
Because
Doc is a full package. Doc is a gamer. He's a past dev, so he knows what he's talking about there, and he's a fucking entertainer.
I can do both.
Exactly.
I mean, there's a no disrespect. There's a big difference between a Dr. Disrespect stream and a Shroud stream, right? Because like if Shroud were to go, I love Shroud. I'm just saying, if Shroud were to go live and just lose for 8 hours straight, it would.
Yeah, but Shroud's an introvert, and Doc is an extrovert. You know what I mean? Like, Doc can go in a room and just talk to anybody, as Guy, as Doc, whatever. You know what it takes to go into public and wear that fucking wig and the headphones? He's always he's never himself. Doc is 100% Doc. If he's in public, he's Doc. Okay? There's a difference.
Not be good.
Well, what he's saying, like you're saying that people watch Shroud because he's good.
He's good.
People watch Doc because he's funny.
Exactly.
Yes,
right?
exactly,
And like
yes.
Doc
I agree
is
with that.
good and Shroud is funny, but people watch Doc for being funny.
100%.
And people watch Shroud for being
You're right.
good.
Yes.
Yeah,
Their
I think
brand,
that's
yeah.
true.
Yeah.
And yeah, like as a gameplay streamer, it's always sad for me to see people that are like attached to one game. And I'm just talking about World of Warcraft. Like we all know this.
Yeah.
And it's in their stream is just kind of not going anywhere. Like their career isn't going anywhere. They're not doing anything. And I feel really bad for them because in a lot of cases, these are talented, skilled content creators, people that are funny, interesting, etc. And they're just not going anywhere. They're not doing anything. It's like I would have felt
Their content creators are forcing themselves to do content because they think that game is going to give them longevity. They think that thing is going to give them, and lots of people are young and they don't understand what it takes. See, I'm stubborn in my way, right? I know what I'm doing is good, but I suck at social media. I suck at that stuff to get my stuff out there. I don't do clips. I don't do viral stuff. I don't do anything like that, right? I get what I put in, and other people that are younger, they try to be someone they're not. They try to get that hot take. They try to get that thing they actually don't believe in. They try to get that thing that gets them viral video status. And then when they get that taste of making a video that does 15,000, 100,000, 1 million, then in their head, they have to keep doing that. They're like, well, I did it before. I did that once. How do I do it again? So then they do more outrageous things. They do more out stuff to do, and they're not actually doing anything. They're just being a monkey. Dance for me, monkey, right? Oh, you set your house on fire. Now what are you going to do next? What stupid thing are you going to do next?
Felt that same way about SFan. If SFan never moved out of Classic WoW.
It's the same way I feel about a lot of the Genshin Impact streamers.
Yeah.
They are just sitting there, withering away slowly, doing the same thing before that would give them millions of views, and now they're only getting tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands. And yeah, a lot of them generally just need to move on, or at least do Genshin plus other stuff.
If I have one piece of advice for content creators, especially gameplay creators, take every freaking sponsorship you can.
What's that? What's that? I don't know what sponsorships are. I've never had a sponsorship. I had one, actually. I had one that reached out to us, not this past Christmas, but the Christmas before, and then they backed out because I'm not a big enough streamer for them.
100%.
Take them all, because you never know when Father Time's going to knock on the door and tell you, hey, sorry, the audience isn't there anymore. Like, just lap it up while you can and hope, save for a rainy day, and hopefully you find another path. But if you don't, at least you've saved up.
Absolutely.
See, the difference between me and someone else, if you're under the age of 25 and you did as many, I've been doing this, right? I know how bad I am, how many years I've put in, okay? But yet I know I'm a hard worker, and I know what I'm doing will pay off. Where if you're a young person, if they did this for 30 seconds, they'd be like, well, how come I'm not getting 100,000 views? How come I don't have 1 million people? How come my subs are not going up? How come this is not happening? And they'd be like, done. Move away. Me, I don't care if there's one person in here or if there's 100 people in here. I will be the exact same person, the amount of time. I will never change because I am who you see.
How much do you think a content creator, if you were to give us a number, what do you think is a good number to have saved for, let's say, a content creator who just turned 30?
To have saved?
Yes.
I mean, I would expand this.
If their future was fucked and they were so stupid.
How old are you, Tectone?
30. So I'm just wondering, how much money you think they need to be saved up so that way in case their channel dies, then they're fine. They'll be okay. If you would have a raw number.
I'm fucked. I'm fucked. I don't even know what number he's going to say, but I'm fucked.
Okay.
Yep.
I want to, do you want me to just give you a number? Or do you want me to answer in like a really long, ranty way?
Long, ranty way.
Okay. So I would say this. Every year you are making content, imagine that is 2 or 3 years where you would otherwise have had employment elsewhere. Like this is how you should register in your mind.
This is not going to go well. I've been streaming for 10 years. So that means 3 years. 3 years for every year. So I have to have 30 years saved up?
So if you've made content for 3 years and then all of a sudden, for whatever reason, the faucet's turned off and you can't make money anymore, and you go back to you try to go back to a job, that's more of like being 6 years out of work. That's how you should process it in your own mind. The reason why I suggest you do that is because it puts a sense of urgency behind you to hopefully, work harder and try to find your way. Because one of the...
Right, try to find your way. Who can I talk shit about? Let me make content off someone else's content, right? Which we're doing, but we're not drama content. I'm more of a educational, try to, give opinions, show facts, show type of things, have fun, right? I'm not trying to shit on anybody and stir up some drama.
Difficult parts about getting into content.
Don't think about it, bro.
It's not failing. It's like being in the middle of like success and failure.
Absolutely.
Where you're like at 500 viewers or 300 viewers, you're just like,
what do those feel like?
I'm so close to having my big breakthrough. And
does that mean you're a big breakthrough? Yeah, this is why I don't care. I personally don't care about subs. I need subs so I can get those sponsorships. I need subs because I would rather have 100%. If I had 30 people every day and that was the only 30 people I was making content for, then fantastic. Okay? But YouTube and everything else revolves around that subs, engagement, thumbs up, all the stuff, right? And because I don't have enough subs, YouTube doesn't push me to other things. Other avenues out there don't open up to me until you hit 5, 7, 10,000 subscribers. Then that's when it opens up, right? But getting to that point, I got to do something stupid. I got to wear some stupid thing on my head. I got to be like some hot chick. I got to like shave my beard. I got to paint my face like I'm a clown. I've got to like, I don't know, take some forks and put them in a toaster oven. I don't know.
And then a year goes by, 2 years, 3 years, and all of a sudden you're like down to like 98 viewers and you never really break through. It's a very dangerous position to be in.
Really scary.
Very scary. And the market nowadays is so competitive. So I would say to answer your question, if you are a creator that has been making content for 3 years.
I am. I'm a content creator that's made for 3 years. I think this is going to hurt.
And you haven't had your breakthrough yet. Personally,
I should quit. Is he about to say I should quit?
I would recommend looking to leverage your skills and your connections.
I got no skills. No skills.
And your understanding of content into a more, a more formal creator-based career. Like not as a creator, but...
That's a nice way of saying you should stop doing what you're doing because you suck. I appreciate that.
An influencer marketing manager or, helping, a social media strategy, etc. And then if you're 30 years old and you've been...
Oh, God, if you're 30 years old. I mean, it does say in the title 30. It does say 30. Yeah, I'm 30.
Been making content for a while. How much money should you have saved up? Assuming you've been out of the workforce for probably 6+ years.
Yep.
Hopefully you got a couple $100,000 in a 401.
All right, guys. I'm done. I'm done. Yeah, I'll see you guys later.
1K,
Okay.
maybe. And this is, we're talking about the U.S., obviously, Austin market rates, et cetera. Europeans might be like, oh my God, that's crazy. But in general, I hope you have at least a couple $100K in a 401K.
A couple $100K. Kind of. Does he understand? I think he does understand. The amount of percentage of people on YouTube that are successful is astronomically low. Astronomically low. We can't all be Ryan open up packages as a kid and reviewing toys. The fact that I make money off of this, I'm in an astronomically low tier, right? Now, I don't make a lot of money, okay? The fact that I make money from this, fucking amazing. Fucking amazing.
Kind of accruing and...
Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You'll be fine, though. Don't worry about it.
Okay, great. Cool. Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say a lot more. I think the number that people need, this is going to sound crazy. This might just sound straight up stupid. I think $1 million is no longer fucking anything.
True.
Because before you had $1 million, took care of yourself, took care of your wife, took care of your 3 kids, and then your kids' kids.
Did he just say $1 million is nothing? I mean, I get that. $1 million is nothing if you're living in a fucking house that you can't afford and you're driving a car you can't afford. If you're living above your means, you can live off the interest rate and have a part-time job.
You could fill a whole legacy with that amount of money. But these days, I think the new number that people need to strive to get is 5 million.
So I would have agreed with you about 2 years ago.
Okay.
And the reason why I changed my mind is there is such a demand, like, for example, influencer marketing, social media management, et cetera. There's such a demand for these types of careers now.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, the best candidate to fill those career jobs are creators, ex-creators, former creators.
Yeah.
So in the past, the way I looked at it is, if you're a content creator, you're essentially putting your life on hold.
100%.
And none of the skills that you are acquiring are transferable to any other formal career.
You're saying that's different now.
Well, yeah.
I disagree now.
Exactly, Leo. I would live the exact same way as well. I would live the exact same way.
Look like Shaq. I mean, Shaq doesn't play basketball anymore, but he's on ESPN talking about it all the time.
Yeah,
like there's tons of people like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, look at Asmongold. That dude is a millionaire, multi-millionaire. Do you see him wearing a 3-piece suit? Does he drive an expensive car? Does he live in an expensive house? No, he lives in his house that his parents, when he was growing up. And he doesn't even clean up after himself. Okay, this is not me making fun of him. The dude is a multi-millionaire, has multiple businesses. He wears the same shirt and pants every day. Now, maybe he has 100 shirts of the same shirt. Okay? This dude lives below his means.
And in the past, my perspective was very warped. And it was like, dude, somebody's streaming all day. They're just playing video games. They're not acquiring any tangible skill that they can apply elsewhere.
Yeah.
Well, nowadays, frankly, after being an OTK and recruiting people for these positions.
Let me tell you something. I did watch it, L, right? I think Asmongold, I think he's what, like 35, 38? He's like 10 years younger than me. He's like my doppelganger in the way he talks about stuff and does stuff. I like his content. I do. He's very entertaining to me. He just talks and says it how it is. He doesn't care if he offends somebody or does something. He's just entertaining. If you don't like him, don't fucking watch, right? I love his content. I love that he comments about other things, watches other people's videos. He's so down to earth, right? And you can tell where he's come from and where he is.
I found that people that have a content background just tend to understand social media more. They understand. Yeah. They've made connections, right? If you want to bring on an influencer marketing manager and you hire somebody that knows like 300 influencers, chances are they're going to do a better job than somebody who went to college for whatever marketing and is trying to exactly like.
Okay, that's because the opinion that you used to have is my current opinion.
I think it should change.
So that perspective, holy fuck.
Yeah.
That makes me feel much better, Tim.
You should. I
feel better.
If you wanted to retire tomorrow.
I still suck. I still make not $1 million and have a 401k, but I do feel better about myself now. Thank you.
Tomorrow and said, Tips, I'm looking for a job as a social media manager. I'd hire you at OTK right away.
That'd be insane. Yeah. Okay. Hell yeah. Good. Because it is scary. And I think a lot of creators do need to hear that.
Yeah.
Because my whole perspective was, I need to make enough money to retire from now until I die. Because there is no fucking...
Yeah, but you don't have to make that money now, like at 30. You can literally make that money across your time and take your skills and adjust it as you go. Like, no one's making it. I don't want to say no one. The 1% of the, like, Ninja made the money, and now he technically doesn't have to do fucking shit if he's smart about it. Okay? You don't need to make that money, like, day one while you're streaming.
Fucking way I can go back to working a normal job. I just could not do it. It is, I find what people do.
These people would never make it in the film industry. You guys understood that I would work. Actually, YouTube is the same way, basically. Okay? When I worked a film job, there was sometimes you would get paid at the end of the job, which was very, very rare. Very rare. Okay? But what you would normally get is a 45-day to 60-day before you got paid. Okay? So I would go 3 months on nothing, waiting for that check to come in. And then once that check comes in, I'm good. I'm good, right? If I made my day wage and worked a month, okay, and then get paid that money 3 months down the line or 2 months down the line, right? I was good to go. And then once it started, then I was okay because I wasn't living check by check or month job by job, okay? You would have to save your things. So you would have to learn how to save money, So when you get your first big check, you put that away. You don't touch it. Like you didn't even make it. Like you didn't even make it. Okay? I would work a job and I would make like 30 grand. And I just put that in the bank. Like I didn't even make it. Okay? And then I would have to wait another 60 days to get my next check for my next job that I worked on. And it could be like a $500 check, or it could be a $2,000 check. It could be a $10,000 check, right? But you have to learn to budget. It seems like a lot of these people that are content creators, they just don't know how to budget. They're like Bungie.
Like, for example, fast food workers. That is the hardest shit ever. Yeah. And I think they're very underappreciated for what they do, because you are literally, at that point, you're monetizing your mental state, because they treat you like shit.
There's nothing that is more demanding. Like yes, streaming can be taxing mentally.
Yep.
Let me tell you something. Maybe I'm just in a different place in my life. This is the least stressful shit that I do every single day. Turning this camera on and talking to, technically I'm talking to nobody. Potentially you guys don't even exist. All of you could be bots. Right? And I'm just talking to myself into this little camera here. Okay? This is the least amount of stress than I will ever have in my day. Okay? The other day, just to put you in perspective, we have ducks. We have 5 ducks over on just on our property, like pets. Okay? One got murdered by a hawk the other day. Okay? This is the least amount of stress that I'm going to have today. Because when I log off of this camera and I have to go do life things, okay, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have more stress in my life than talking to people on the internet. That's just me, though. I don't want to speak for anybody else.
But physically demanding, it's not even a question.
I do put them in a row. And Krebsy, funny enough, ducks love walking in a row.
Like working at a fast food and
no, Daisy actually got murdered. Yeah, we had Donald, Daisy, Mocha Latte because of the way she looks, Howard the Duck, and Theo. Okay? And Daisy got murdered. Yeah. She didn't just die. She got murdered. She got executed by the hawk.
In a kitchen. I mean, look at Gordon Ramsay. Look how many wrinkles he has.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, fuck.
Yep.
It's that simple.
100%.
It's just so hard. Going somewhere where you're not respected, doing shit that's just incredibly mindless. It's not going to challenge you. And you're going to be told that you are a fucking idiot the whole time that you do it. And even outside the work, no one is going to respect you.
No, 100%.
And it is so hard. So fucking hard.
Am I sad about it? Being on a farm, Titan, my mom actually has a problem with me doing this, right? I'll tell her something that happens, and she's like, oh, it's awful. And I show no kind of reaction to it. I'm desensitized to it. It's sad. I'm desensitized to it because it happens to a lot of the animals just by natural causes, or coyote or foxes or raccoons or whatever, right? Things happen, and as the adults of the house, as the father, I have to show my son, and I gotta be a man, right? So as much as I want to be like, oh man, it sucks, dude, like, right? I have to be like, this is what it is. This is what it is, right? And that's it. I can't be here and be like, if I did that, I'd be crying all the time, right? Yeah. You know, no, my non-reaction is when it happened. I've already that's like 2 days ago. So like my reaction now is nothing. It's like out of sight, out of mind type of thing.
Hard. So, I mean, shit, I'm hoping to make at least $1 million. And just be cruising for a little bit. So
Genshin Impact needs some sponsors, man.
yeah,
Come on.
true. I can't remember the last time I played Genshin Impact. I actually cannot remember. Wait, no. I played for 2 days 13 weeks ago. And then before that,
You guys remember that channel? I don't know if it was PBS or something back in the day. It would just be surgery channel. Like you would see like open heart surgery and stuff on the channel. You guys remember this? When I was a kid and I would watch that, I would be like, ooh. Right? But then I got a job. One of my first jobs out of film school is a hospital hired me. And I've told the story before, but those of you that don't know, right? I got hired to do a video to teach doctors and stuff, right? So I'm the camera guy, and we're showing like cadavers, and they're opening them up and taking organs out and doing stuff. They're teaching doctors in schools so they can watch the videos and whatnot. And within 30 seconds of me being there, because I'm being paid to do it, the smell was quite atrocious. You get used to it, and then you're just seeing it happen. And I'm not nauseous or sick anymore because, 1, I'm getting paid. 2, you got to be professional. And 3, you get desensitized pretty goddamn fast. So much so from that job, I got a job with MTV and did a show called I Want a Famous Face. And I've seen people's faces like peeled off and surgeries and all this other stuff. And it's just like, don't even blink. It doesn't bother me.
And
13 weeks ago.
yeah, that was that was the release of Fontaine.
Okay, yeah.
And then before then, it was 7 months before that. OTK is 1,000,000% the reason why I quit Genshin Impact. 100%.
Nice.
Oh my God. Dude, yeah, thank you. Thank you, by the way. Oh my God, that was so bad. When I was known as the Genshin guy, that was fucking miserable. Oh, that was so fucking, it was humiliating. It was
I'm glad
actually
after
humiliating.
putting you in debt, we were able to bring some value
Yeah,
to you.
guys. Yeah, I worded that really bad.
This shit was funny.
I thought it was fucking funny too. Dude, I got a hate thread for that. And then I got another hate thread.
That was me on my ult.
Oh, yeah,
Fuck this
I
guy.
believe it. I got another one for breaking Ms. Kiff's piece of shit couch.
Oh,
Oh, I
really?
saw
Did
that.
you-
All right, what else are they talking about here? Ginshi breakdown, reading reviews, hottest takes. I think that's it. I think that's a good video. I think got a lot out of that, right? That was actually pretty good. I gotta watch their podcast more. Krebsy, thanks for posting that. I appreciate that. Yeah, man. I love doing this, right? And I make time for this, right? I make time for my family. It's a balance. If I had to give advice to any kind of content creator, if you're a person that's making content, the number one thing is that you have to get in a place where, if this is the one thing, like, I'm very blessed, okay? I am not rich by any means necessary, okay? By no means. Okay? I live in a mediocre house. I have a lovely family. My wife is the breadwinner, right? That's a whole I can literally talk about that, how I got to that space. Okay? I used to be the breadwinner of the house, and now I'm not. Okay? And my family that I married into, today is actually my anniversary. I've been with my wife. This is our first date 22 years ago was today. Okay? Since I've been with the family, they have a farm. It's not my farm, okay? It's the family farm that I help out on and do things and whatnot. But we don't make a lot of money. But we have a lovely life, right? I have a nice life, okay? We don't live, high end, okay? I have a shitty golf cart I drive around on the farm. We drive a Honda Pilot. You know what I mean? I'm blessed for what I have, and I'm thankful for what I have, for what I'm doing. And I do appreciate everyone that comes out and watches these videos. I do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning to 1. Okay. I have a good time just talking and having conversations and going back and forth with you guys. Okay. And that is what I like to do. Right now, obviously, there's a time that's ticking. I don't know when that is, but I'm 45. Okay. My son is getting to the age where I don't need to go pick him up soon. Okay, maybe like another 2 years, okay, 3 years. right? And he'll get a ride somewhere, or maybe he'll ride his bike to school, and then I don't have to drive him anymore, right? There'll be things that is less and less needed on me for my son, because I'm a stay-at-home dad, and I've been a stay-at-home dad for 9 years, right? Me going back in the workforce, right? When push comes to shove, if we need money, I'm going to do what I have to do. Where if I take less time out of this and then I have to go do something else, that's what I'll do, right? So each their own. You got to make sure if you're a content creator and you're doing this a part-time or not, you got to make time for yourself. You got to make time for your family. And don't ever take this and push it in front of everything else. Because if you were working at McDonald's or you're working on the roof or whatever, you got to do what you got to do. But when you start pushing more into that work, it's less time with the family. If it's less time with the family, it's more stress. And if you have more stress, then you start taking it out on certain people and things. Just make sure you are balanced and you know what you got to do. And don't sway that. Be true to yourself. That's what I'll say if you want to be a content creator. Off camera 30 has a full Gucci outfit. No. I wear these non shirts. These are from Costco or from Kohl's. I think it's mostly from Costco now. Right? G4 stashed in the barn. No, we don't even have a barn. You know what? I will take a picture of the shed that we have. Okay? I'll take a picture of the shed that we have just to show you what we have. We have a shed that if a wind comes and blows that thing, I'm surprised it's still standing. See a lot of big ones sacrificing everything for what they are today. But if they could do that for a couple years, make the money, and then kind of, each their own. But just make sure that you're doing content that you like if you're a content creator. I have conversations all the time with people, right? And this is why I like having the interviews with other YouTube content creators and whatnot, because I want to hear how they started or what they did or what they're doing. So, it doesn't help I'm like mostly flying solo, right? I'm starting to get better. Like me and Lona have always been friends over the years, right? And now the Kingard, he's starting to become, like a friend where we talk and stuff like that. So it's nice to find other people that are content creators. But at the same time, I'm older in this industry than everybody else. Even the successful ones are like 10 years younger than me. No, I never did, Big T. You know what? I'm going to take that name down right now. And I'm going to put it in. Okay. I got him. So now I'll take a look and check him out. I will check it out. All right. 1 o'clock. And I'm going to go do my things now that I have to do for the rest of the day to go stress out. I appreciate it very much. We'll be back tonight for Generation X Gaming, the weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories from the past week, and we rant along the way. Sarge is back this week, so it'll be me and Sarge for, I don't even know what episode. What episode are we on for this? I don't even know. What's the last episode? Was it 380 something? 381? 383? 380? I don't even know what episode we're on. 384. We're doing 384 tonight. So appreciate it very much. Come back out tonight for the podcast. Been doing it for 10 years. Apparently, I'm supposed to have $30 million in my bank account with a 401k based on what I just listened to on the podcast. Other than that, appreciate it very much. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We do appreciate it very much. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.